You don't have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
As the sun sets on the Raider Nation, I'm here at Allegiant Stadium to light the Al Davis Memorial Torch in honor of and tribute to Jim Otto, the original Raider. The entire Raider Nation's thoughts and prayers go out to Jim's wife Sally and the entire Otto family. Jim, may you rest in peace.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? As you can see, Oakland Raider Savage is not with us today. Today was a family obligation that was more important than the show, and I definitely do not blame it. You know, our thoughts and prayers are out with you, Savage.
Yes, indeed.
Hopefully everything goes good. But like usual, stepping into his place, we got the one and only Mr. RaiderMan himself. How's it going, RaiderMan?
You know, it would be appropriate to clear the epiglottis before we get it started, man. And shouts out, baby. Young Zato wanted to say what's up to the world. My young dog getting big, man. I'm proud of my puppy. We got a beautiful one coming up. I'm doing as good as I can be. Got a lot of crazy news on life terms, but I'm here, man. God called me to the right now, and I'm grateful for it.
Hey, that's how it goes. You know, we always get kicked in the nuts, kicked in the ass, but what do? We pick ourselves back up, tighten them bootstraps, and get going. Like it was, you know, it's how you pick yourself up. It's not how you get knocked down. That's how life goes. And you know, we all have it. We all have our ups and downs in life. And you know, sometimes some of us are lucky enough to have an outlet like this to be able to take our mind off of it for what, an hour or two to be able to do these things. You know, that's how things go. Let's go ahead and hold on. Let me get my screen going. I got to do everything here, so I'm a little slow on this.
In your transition, I tell you, it's perfect that we honoring Mr. Jim Otto, because that's the man, the myth, the miracle, man, Mr. Amazing, Mr. Always There. And that's what he did, man. No matter what the case, he never missed a game. He never missed a play. He was always there for us in that time of need.
We'll get to him, but first, let's go ahead and do our shameless plug here, because this is what we got to do for every show. Get it going. So I'll start the show here. Go to our YouTube channel, The Cage Match Show. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit that little bell so you know every time we come on. If you don't do YouTube for whatever, you can go catch us on Oakland Raider Savage or Asylum's page and watch us on Facebook. Don't forget Debbie Go to WGG, put your order in, put in cage match, one word in the discount code to get 10% off your whole order. And I'm going to try to do this like Savage always does it. I hope I do him justice here. When you think of wins, you think of dubs. And when you think of dubs, you think of W. High energy, just like Max Crosby.
Nice.
Savage. And another one, we want to give a shout out to Raider Nation for Life, Fabian here. He did a lot of our stuff for the kickoff party that we was giving away for subscribing. And as you notice, Oakland Raiders Savage only wears his hats on the show. So you want to get an idea of his product, just watch the show and see what hat Oakland Raiders Savage is playing at that time, or wearing at that time, I should say. You got anything to add to that? Any shout outs you want to do? Any way people can find you?
Oh man, I want to say much love and shout out to all the people who've been tapping in on the RaiderMan19.com webpage. I gotta get back on it with the podcasting, but I'm gonna need you guys' help, man. Please go on to the site, RaiderMan19.com. Check it out. There's a merch tab. If you go up in the upper right-hand corner, hit the hamburger, I think they call it, and get the drop down. And please go and purchase. Thank you, brother. Go and purchase your Raider Oath merch, man. We need that Raider Oath merch pumping because we got to get some funds going in so I can go in there and finish up this project. But I'm loving it. I've been noticing a lot of new followers on there, but it's almost like kind of being locked out at the gate. I'm not necessarily locked out at the gate, but we need some engine oil to get this engine thing running properly because it don't run for free. And
to add to that, we all know we're trying to get RaiderMan to the torch during the game or before the game to be able to do the Raider Oath live at a game. So, anybody who can help push it, everything else like that, let's do what we can to get him to the torch so he could do the Raider Oath, which is at the beginning of every one of our shows. It's generally at the end or almost the end of our intro. You get to hear the Raider Oath. Nothing like to be able to do it live at a game, though. When you do that, you gotta let me know because I want to
that made my hands sweat. I'm thinking about myself and I got goosebumps. Hey, before we pass up this part with the shameless plugs and shouts, I want to send out major love. I can't remember what our sister's name who forwarded her tickets, paid her tickets forward for me to be able to go for the Bakersfield thing in Kern County.
Right now, Anna Diaz.
God bless her. God bless your heart, sister. Life on life terms. I don't like complaining about things, but I had some pretty hairy situations and, did some work for a guy, been chasing my money, literally, plumbing dead here in my home. I got a lot on the RaiderMan's plate. So I was supposed to be headed out for the Kern County deal on that morning, but somebody kind of flaked on me with my money and I end up in a serious hole. So I really apologize to any and everybody that expected me to be there. I know Savage, forgive me. Asylum, forgive me. But I don't take it lightly. Any and everybody that know me know that, to be able to contribute the Raider Oath to this society, to our civilization as Raider Nation, that's everything to me, man. And to know that people actually want to see me and appreciate, who RaiderMan is and what the Raider Oath is all about. I love you. And just thank you for doing your best to help me to make sure I got there because my ass was on the way. I just couldn't leave my wife in a lurch like that. That was a pretty horrible situation.
We understand that. You'd come home to a pissed off wife and life would have been miserable. What do they say? Happy life, happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah, just said RaiderMan would have never made it to Bakersfield. My ass should have been out there on the side of the road, dusty and dismayed. But it's all good. It's in the past. And, whatever the next function, damn well I'm running and gunning. So, keep the love going. And I definitely appreciate the endeavor. And I didn't want that to go unsaid.
Oh, no. And we appreciate Anna, doing what she did. She grabbed a hold of me on the side and said she wanted to donate the tickets to you. And I did everything I can to get all that going.
Unfortunately,
life gets in the way. Hey, trust me, I know how it goes. I just found out we will be going over the schedule with you. I just found out I won't be able to go to the Kansas City game out here.
Oh no, that's the game I've been working on. I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah, the Kansas City game out here. I will actually be in New York at that time with the
Wow.
family.
I'm
So
trying to get there to you, man.
yeah, that November 29th game, I'm a little pissed off at the NFL for that one because they fucked me royally. I don't get to go to many games, but I was getting ready to go to that game.
Right.
But you know
Damn
what?
schedule makers, man. They do everything for themselves. They don't give a shit about us, you know.
We got shit up on there, but let's go ahead and move up. We got some. Well, it's not really breaking news, but
This is CMN, a cage match news update.
as we all know, thank you, James Earl Jones, for that little talking right there. Love that. The breaking news, which we all know it was over the weekend, but we did lose a legend. I mean, I consider him Mr. Raider. I don't consider Tim Brown. I know some people do. He's the original. He's the only Mr. Raider. The legend Jim Otto. He passed away at 86 years old. He was drafted by the team and then spent every year, even after he retired. This man was with the team. He epitomizes the Raiders. I mean, he started, I think it was 210 games started
Never
in a row. I mean, this man, you want to talk about smash mouth, hard nose. I mean, Jim Otto was one of the nicest guys you can meet off the field, but when he got on that field, you didn't want to be messing with him. You got anything to add to this? I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more. We got more accolades and everything that we will get through, but I want to give you a chance to talk about Jim Otto.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man, because Double O, and I appreciate what you said and that, you know, the thing about Timmy Brown. Some people may take that offensive. I'm going to go ahead and put a positive light spin on that because I've always, like when I make my calls in on the radio shows and different things like that, I've always called Double O the original Raider man. And so, you know, if he's to take over the moniker of Mr. Raider, which he definitely deserves that dubbing, then I'm more than happy to switch to Tim Brown and just call him the Raider man. Well, he wouldn't be the original Raider man though, so it does change it. Well, it doesn't matter. It's all semantics. But to think, man, a guy like that in that era, where I believe when he came into the NFL out of the University of Miami, he was only like 210 pounds, 230 pounds, guys like him, Pete Banaszak, stuff like that, man. Those were a different ilk. That was a different brand of man. And that's what molded our Raiders traditions. That's what melded our team. And bigger than that, I'm going to take this a step further and I'll put this on myself. So I'm throwing this out there for all of the original, let's call them Raider Nation guys and gals. In the beginning of Raider Fan Magazine, when Tim Del Rosario was really coining terms and trying to put that real Raider mystique into a leaflet, into this pamphlet that we call this magazine. Raider Rob was contributing. He threw in the Raider Oath. I mean, not the Raider Oath, the Raider Nation, and started to scream that all over the place. And, we started to get this energy, man. But we used to have business mixers. And these business mixers were being held up at Raymond Chester's place at 98 Golf Links up there at the golf course in Oakland. And I was fortunate enough to go to a few of those business mixers. Got a chance to hang out with the likes of Jim Otto, Marv Helbert. I'm not a name dropper, but it was fun to hang with these guys and literally be bellied up at a bar and, smashing Miller Lights. Marv liked to drink his out of glass. It was crazy to watch him pour the thing in the glass and just smash it. But, just like, when we would sit down at that table and pick his head about how to formulate this Raider Fan Magazine, Jim Otto literally sitting next to me. I was fortunate enough to be literally sitting right next to the man. He thumbs through one copy of this magazine, sees all the pictures. I'm all proud. Hey, yeah, you see me? That's me with the microphone in the kid's face. Blah, 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 blah. He thumbs through it all the way to the end. And he takes it and he throws it in the center of the table. He said, "That's crap." And I'm talking about, you know how it is when you put your little heart out there and you want somebody to, to feel you. You're thinking that you done something. My little crap don't stink.
To validate you.
Man, to have double O look you right in the face and say, this is crap. This is nothing. There's nothing here. There's no substance. That's why you get the anger and the vitriol behind the originators of who was really pushing to be, I guess, our Raider media, because there was a lot of different people. And I feel blessed that they looked at me to say, you know what? You're the one that needs to be behind the microphone. You're the one that's going to be in front of the camera. That was a mighty task for me. And to see that after all these years with this whole corporatization of the product, they can't find anybody. And it's so sad that they know who I am. They know where I am. It's not like I'm not bugging them. It's my job. That's what I was created to do. But it was Jim Otto who literally was the catalyst to what that created what Raider Nation became. He didn't create Raider Nation, but he was the catalyst that pushed that spirit that created what Raider Nation became.
That's one thing about Jim Otto. He loved his Raiders. I mean, like I said, that's one reason why I call him. I've always called him. He's always, for me, since I've been a Raiders fan, he's always been Mr. Raider.
Yeah.
And we'll go through his accolades because there's some stories I want to tell. A couple of stories. Oh, where the hell did they? Oh, there it goes. Go back. He was drafted, like you said, out of the University of Miami. Played rookie year, jersey 50. I've won a couple of trivias on that. A lot of people don't know that his original number was 50, not 00. Even though he was one of the last players to wear 00, he was grandfathered in when the NFL took that number away and said it can no longer be used. That number is not retired, not nothing like that. But the NFL said that number no longer is allowed to be used. But it was him and one other player, and I forget the name of the player right now, that was grandfathered in to wear 00 because they were already that number. And after they retired, that number was no longer to be used. A 15-year career from 60 to 74. He never missed a game, but he did miss some starts. Like I said, it's right here, 210 consecutive games. I don't think that's a record that anybody's going to break. I don't even think Brett Favre broke that record. No. And he was another Iron Man. And he was playing back at a time that it wasn't no soft football. I mean, you saw it in the highlights. He had blood coming from his eyes, everything else.
He said he got his nose broken like every other game. And he actually did. You see his nose, one highlight to be facing one way, the next highlight facing the other way.
There's stories about his wife in the parking lot having to reset his nose every time he turns around, straighten it back out and everything. I mean, you know how tough you got to be to have your nose.
They tried to personify it in that Rocky.
AFL champion, played in Super Bowl. Played in Super Bowl II, which we lost. That was our first Super Bowl appearance and loss. 9-time first team All AFL, 60 to 65, 67 to 69. First team Pro 1970, second team All Pro 72, second team All AFL 66, 9-time AFL All-Star, and 3-time Pro Bowl player. That means that motherfucker was an All-Star since after his rookie year, since he donned that 00.
Man. And before we gloss past that Super Bowl too fast, that was the Green Bay Packers. That was Super Bowl II. That's when Lombardi had that was right before they named the damn trophy Lombardi.
Yep. that was when the Packers were the Packers and they were dominant. I mean,
right. That was Bart Starr and them. You know what I mean? That was man. Shit. That's a different era, bro. People don't understand.
That was definitely the hard-nosed era. I mean, players were getting hurt. I mean, that was even before the Jack Youngblood when he played in the Super Bowl with a broken fucking leg.
Man, that was back when the ACE bandage was actually considered like a health aid.
Yeah.
Wrap that thing up with an ACE bandage and get your ass back out there.
So he was NFL 100th anniversary all-time team. And that's when they turned around on the 100th anniversary. They put together the all team, and he was the starting center for that one. For that, they were taking all kinds of different players. AFL all-time team. He made the AFL and Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee 1980. And if I remember correctly, he was the first Raider to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I will believe so, but I mean, I don't know if King Al came first. Well, yeah, player-wise.
Al Davis was after.
It was after, yeah. So, yeah, that's not something I research. I'm willing to take it. Put it on the board. Yeah. But shit, man, the man can't be outdone. It's like certain things don't really need to be classified, and Jim Otto in my book is the one. It's like you don't get more original Raider than Jim Otto, and he set a great standard. He set a great standard for the tradition that became, some people try to dub the Raider way and all that kind of stuff. But, media creeps in and does its best to push at the narratives and the things that we control for ourselves. And when we keep our shit in house, man, Raider history is unmatched. We came through the fire against some of the greatest, and that man set a standard for upholding that tradition and that legacy of excellence. And it's unfortunate that he didn't get a chance to celebrate a Super Bowl victory, because of the way that the timing he retired the year before the Raiders, went to win the Super Bowl in '76. But in my mind's eye, and especially since he was still with the fucking team, he still get that ring.
He got that ring because he
was just as much a part of that team as anybody else. His body just couldn't do it anymore. That man literally did everything but die on the fucking field. And he probably did die a couple of times. We just didn't hear about it. He's not like he would tell us. I can see Jim Otto go up to guy like, come on, man. It's only third quarter. Just give me one time.
He had 78 operations.
Man.
28 on his knees.
Nobody saying probably 50 of them was probably on the knees. Shit.
But I know a lot of people know he actually lost a leg.
Yeah.
He had an amputation, and when he got his prosthetic leg, what did he have that prosthetic put on that prosthetic leg? A big Raiders shield. That man loved his Raiders. If you lived in the Bay Area and everything, especially in the Hayward area, he owned Burger Kings. He owned Double O Liquors. I remember going into Double O Liquors.
Yeah. I remember delivering beer to Double O out there in Hayward, man. And shouts out to the original Black Hole. Matter of fact, in particular, to my OG Black Hole Uncle Sting. Because Sting been working his ass off to work in some network to get us a new Black Hole layer out there in Hayward. That's a spot that kind of opened up his doors and wanted to invite us in. I'm not giving up on it. I'm hoping to God that somebody out there is watching and hear this and bump into it. But keep that flame going, man, because I haven't forgotten. But that place just happens to be within a stone's throw of Double O Liquors, man. And it just it had my heart beating fast when I was going around the corner. I'm like, oh, I gotta have this place alive, man, to know I can have it cracking down the street from Double O. That would make my heart jump.
Hey, maybe we got to do a Raider Oath right there in front of the Double O sign.
Right there, you know what I mean? It's just like, so many memories. And there's a trip you asked about, certain memories, and I don't want to go into the whole lot of stuff because I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I just knew Jim Otto so well. But he did. He really made time for anybody who was willing to make time for him. And that's a person, and it's sad to see that, people try to put propaganda behind that kind of stuff. But in a sense, you kind of have to, because legends get forgotten. People in most cases don't really get appreciated until they die. And in a lot of ways, we kind of watch Jim Otto get appreciated throughout his life for his endeavors of his sacrifices. And I think that's cool. That should be celebrated in itself, because everybody not true like that. Everybody not loyal, and especially to the degree that man was, So shouts out to him. God rest his memory. Raider in peace, and shouts out and uphold his family, especially his queen, his wife, and his kids, because that was a good God-fearing man. You know what I mean? The world lost a good man, not just a great football player.
I remember meeting him at training camp, and I mean, he would sit there and talk with anybody. He didn't have that. Well, I got to get going. If you wanted to sit there and talk Raiders, he'd sit there and talk Raiders with you, and just keep going. I mean, he loved the fans. He loved people. He loved the game. I mean, obviously, I mean, he was even the director of special projects for the Raiders after he retired.
Think about this. What was one of our biggest special projects? The black hole. You know what I mean? Jim Otto had a way of instilling culture. You know, he wanted it pure and he wanted it right. And like I said, in those business mixers, he was like a quality control. I call him Inspector 19 because you're not just going to get past him with some, oh, yeah, you got cute, you kissing babies and all that crap. Get this shit out of here. What is this? This is bullshit. You're wasting people's time. There's got to be substance. And that's what we did our best to create. And I believe that's exactly why we're here today on this podcast. And going back, RaiderMan actually got blessed by God to be beer man in the Coliseum for, I don't know, maybe 2.5 seasons. It was a wonderful experience. But one of the biggest experiences that I had was regularly bumping into Mr. Otto and Mr. Davis going up into their suite. They had a suite that they would normally occupy. I think it was East Side Club. It don't matter. I don't like to get into semantics, but I remember being up around 223 and the 220, 221 in that area because I was servicing my stations. And, you know, to be able to bump into that man in the hallways and have him remember you. As RaiderMan, long before my beer man stint, I was actually introduced to Jim Otto back in training camp. I got invited to training camp for the first time, I believe, in 1997. Black Hole Rob and a bunch of the guys that arranged something where we were able to go out there and start poking into some footage. They were getting RaiderMan into the scrum. I actually held my mic up against Martin Wyatt and you know, Vernon Glenn, some of those guys that was, you know, in the circle back in the, you know, in the press, in the media press. And, you know, I had an uncle. I have an uncle. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him in a while. But his name is Emmett Rochelle. Emmett Rochelle, they call him Rocky. Rocky was the X-ray tech for the Oakland Raiders and, you know, coming out of the Hyatt and whatnot. So, you know, just being able to be introduced, hey, this is my nephew and all this kind of stuff. Hey, I remember you. And to have him recall that, bumping into him years later, like, look at you now. Check this out. RaiderMan is beer man, you know. And he used to get a kick out of it because I had little special ways of doing things. Well, I would say, beer man walking. And somebody said, hey, RaiderMan's coming. And the concourse will kind of clear. He's like, oh, you can part the beer seas? He's like, oh, that's some pretty impressive shit right there.
That's going to get in that magazine. You part the beer seas.
You can part the beer seas? Oh, that's some pretty impressive shit right there.
and I think it's pretty it was a classy move of Mark Davis. After he found out, the story is he drove straight to Allegiant Stadium to sit there and do that, which you saw at the end of our intro, to go light the Al Davis torch for Jim Otto. Right. I mean, he wasted no time. He went straight there. I think that was a classy move. I mean, that just shows the love, you know, that once a Raider, always a Raider. Yeah. The Raiders are the one team that when it comes to their alumni, you know, they do everything they can. They don't forget about you.
Yep.
And Jim Otto definitely was not somebody who was forgotten or will be forgotten.
Right.
He will always live on. As long as the Raiders are a team, Jim Otto will always be mentioned when it comes to Raiders.
Yeah. And it's important for us to keep his name out there in the lexicon of the NFL as well, because, you know, these names, man, you look up and it's the blink of an eye that 10, 20 years have passed. You know, it's like you think about how long we've been fans of our team, just of our team, let alone just being conscious of sports, you know, or just, you know, endeavoring sports for yourselves. And, you know, and actually having those times where you might have felt like I'm in a heyday. Hey, I think I can do this. I had those kind of days. You know, I actually thought that was pretty good. And, you know, some people whisper shit in your ear and you get those grandiose thoughts. But these were the gladiators that did it. And he did it first. You know, where some of the greatest were establishing themselves out there. You know, he was doing it when there was the guys that created the Hall of Fame were creating the reasons to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, he wanted the original receipts to ride the bus. And, man, that kind of shit can't be taken lightly. I got friends that I have what do you call them, group chats, and we text, and I'll voice text because I talk too much to be doing shit with my
Oh,
thumb.
We know.
One of these kids is doing his own thing.
Hey, but
One of these
sometimes
kids is kind of the same.
I'll do it sometimes too.
But my brother, he's with the way he'll say it is he thinks is like ruthless, that he doesn't really get all enamored with the past players and stuff like that. And I endeavored to try to engage in conversation with him about it, because for me, I don't want to be judgmental. I understand his perspective and where he's coming from. A lot of times you don't get to meet these guys. You may, as fans, as Raider fans, you might have been lucky enough to bump into a Jim Otto and have him sign something for. Oh, speaking of that, where's my little thing? What is that thing?
I got an end zone pylon autographed by Jim Otto.
Nice. I'll trade you. You wear hats, I don't, and I like end zone pylons.
I only wear one autograph. I hate wearing autographs. I don't like to. Besides, that's a white hat. I'll get that dirty hella quick.
Yeah, you see, I got it in the damn plastic bag. I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Oh, you doing right.
But my shit is intact, baby.
And
my shit is intact.
That's Phil Villapiano's, and that's because he signed my straight jacket. And, so when you see me walk around in my straight jacket, on my back, you'll see Phil Villapiano's signature. That's the only one I wear, and I hate even doing that. But you don't know how expensive it is to make a new straight jacket.
Oh, did you ever think about maybe trying to put some of that silicone shit in it and try to just...
No, it's set in there. That jacket's been through the rain.
Nice.
I did a dunk tank wearing that jacket. That autograph is stayed. My mom set that shit real good.
No,
but you know what? The sons and shit, it's just one of those things. I don't like to wear autographs.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Because, I mean, at some point, and this is where I was going with what I was saying about my friend. I can, and he's not like a youngster. He's not like one of these young guys, we call him a millennial, whatever you call him. It's a respectable man, working man, and he's just doing his thing. But life and death comes and goes. We're all gonna do that, and he lives in a lifestyle where he doesn't choose to hold that. It doesn't really hold a reverence to him. As much as I respect that, I challenged him this. I said, I can understand that in a life perspective. Because I guess his point was he was making, like when Kobe died, that really choked him up. That's probably the only celebrity that made him emotional because, as he put it, he thought about the image of, Kobe and his daughter and that kind of thing. I don't want to go all into it just under respect, but God rest Kobe. But the things that made it emotional for him. For me, it was the immediate thought of, damn, that's one of the most magnificent human beings that we had in the fucking face of this earth. And we don't get to see what he do after he finished fucking around with basketball. That man had a career. I would have loved to see him, doing what they call politics, or see somebody as fucking coherent running for office, and that kind of shit. But even if he wasn't interested in that, just to think how articulate of a human being he was, and how proud I was.
Just like he was doing with his daughter, coaching. I mean, he was
just
coaching.
What he doing with the girls, just anything. But he had so much gravity on every level of everything that he touched, and have that fucking potential wiped out. That crushed me. That's what made me cry. I cried like a baby. That shit had me fucked up for days, and I couldn't put a finger on it. But it was true. And I'm not one of those try to hide your tear type of motherfuckers. God gave them to me, so when they pouring, you better get you a glass.
They don't happen often, but when they do happen, they're gonna flow like a fucking river, right?
They happen as often as they happen. Because I mean, shit, if I cried every day for years, I'm only crying for a reason. If you don't care, that's your problem. But I don't cry for no reason, But when it comes to like death, and this was my point, I believe that this society, in so many ways, has grown away from reverence and upholding traditions and teaching cultures and and sharing those taught cultures with our neighbors. And that's what's killing our civilization. And we as Raider Nation, I've always held the mantle of believing that that's our civil duty because we're doing something that the world is trying to emulate. They want to be like us. And then they poke a couple of cameras in your face and you get a couple of hot shots telling you, oh, yeah, go ahead and talk now, Raiders Nation. And now the rest of the world can copy the recipe and come in. And now all of a sudden they're doing something. They're making it seem like we're trying to do what they're doing. Watch in 5 years, some jackass gonna say, they already started with all they Chiefs nations and all that shit, this kind of crap. You watch, somebody gonna swear up and down it was their fucking idea. They gonna probably have some brother out there in long locks and hollering and screaming. Probably create him a nice, I don't know, nobody really.
Just wait till you see somebody trying to be in asylum, but all in fucking red and yellow and shit.
Right. You see where I'm going with this. They already got savages all over the fucking place. They got gorillas all over the place. It's like, because there are no new ideas. The inference that I'm doing my best to get.
There is, but the hard part is coming up and thinking it. Like I said, it took me 5 years to come up with the whole asylum, everything, the name, the look. It took me 5 years because I wanted to make sure I was out there, that what I did was nobody else had. And trust me, I had other ideas. And every time you do it, especially in Raider Nation, every time you do it, you don't forget, or you don't forget, you find out somebody else is doing it. Somebody else got that look.
No, but wait, this is my point. You came up with something original. But once somebody sees you, like say for instance, if we standing at the game together and you just happen to have the first jacket, if I was a Chinzy and I've seen this happen up close, where people try to slide in on your ideas. Everybody at the origins of our Raider Nation, everybody that was coming out of that parking lot was on a hell-bent mission to create something of their own. Nobody wanted anything to duplicate anything. Of course, okay, you didn't create or invent straight jackets and shit like that, but that whole persona, everything that you created to become Asylum, that's originality and that's a culture that should be appreciated. And instead it's just mimicked and it's just duplicated. And it's like, and Raider Rob told me this. He told me this shit a few years back when we first got back in touch. But he was like, I think that it's absolutely brilliant what you did in coining RaiderMan. He said, because that's the only Raider name, and I'm throwing this shit out there because I'm challenging the first copycat sorry motherfucker to do it. That's the only persona that ain't nobody been able to copy. Can't nobody fucking do RaiderMan. Because I made sure that RaiderMan wasn't just some jackass running around in a cape and some Speedos and, I'm right. And I'm conscious of how I do that because there was actually a conversation and an elevated kind of situation with a gentleman who passed away. I want to say respectfully, I didn't know him personally. But what I do know about him, because he was a caller on the radio stations as I was, and I respected him because he was brave enough to come out from behind his, what some people might call handicap. He was special needs of sorts. And you can hear it in his speech. You can hear it in how he talked and all that stuff. But I wanted to meet that man so bad. I remember his name was Larry. I kept saying the wrong name. So just for the sake of not screwing it up anymore, I don't want to guess at his last name. But in all respect, and God rest that spirit, God Raider in peace, that brother loved the Raiders so much. And he would call in and say, I'm not even going to mimic him because that'd be disrespectful in my mind's eye. But what he would be saying is, I'm going to put on my cape and a mask and I'm going to go to the games and I'm going to run around like I'm going to be RaiderMan. And the talk show host will literally, I don't want to take sides on this, but at the time, what he said wasn't nice. He would say things like, get out of here. There's only one RaiderMan. And I respect that because in a sense, you're trying to protect me. But I'm a grown man and I don't need that protection. And bigger than that, I created RaiderMan. I should be able to say how RaiderMan is done. And if I'm not the only one with that idea, some other brother somewhere else in a completely different mind state, he also thought of RaiderMan. I don't want these kind of things pitted against each other. There's more creativity in human beings and we're belittling ourselves.
Because there is somebody who dressed as similarly to me. Okay. And here's the story. Our Lady of Raider Nation, her son, Raider Jackal.
Shout out, Jack.
They hit actually through a mutual friend, one of the homies. If I remember correctly, it was Droopy. One of the homies hit me up and asked. They asked permission, and they didn't need to. They didn't need to. They
But
did
that's
not
respect. That's
No,
respect.
exactly. That's respect. He hit me up and said, "Look, I got this. I got this. I got this friend, whose son wants to wear, straight jacket in a cage. Are you okay with that?"
That's the way it's supposed to be.
And I support Raider Jackal. Our lady of Raider Nation knows she's hit me up. We talk all the time. I support Raider Jackal 100%, and it's because they hit me up first.
Right.
And so as you put respect and everything,
it's respect. Put respect on it.
I mean, it's a kid. I'm not going to tell a kid no. First of all.
And that's how the legacy continues. Think about it. That baby carrying a legacy. Imagine if you had a whole section of asylums up there. You know what I mean? Man, I think that's like a family reunion of asylums. You know what I mean? I love that kind of shit. But see, you understand it because you were there in the beginning. And you understand what the painful part of that process of people being weeded out and picked specifically for media propositions and shit like that. That shit tore at the fabric of our family. And that's the monster that's grown to pervade what we call Raider Nation now. Because the whole inference about what the black hole was built for, and what Raider Nation was built to do is for the next generation of Raider Nation. And yes, Raider Man said that first. For whoever tried to steal that, I'm telling you, because that's the way we got to talk. Everything is trying to protect yourself from your ideas because people just pick up on the shit and just run with it. There's no reverence for what came before.
There's even another guy in Mexico who, when they did the first Mexico game, all of a sudden he's wearing, something similar. And I'm like, and I have people hit me up. Well, what are you going to do about it? Ain't nothing I'm going to do about it. I can't, I don't got, the look is out there for everybody. As long as they don't try to take my name.
They used to always say, well, that term, imitation is the best form of flattery. And that used to be held up in respect because typically the imitation will come to meet who they're imitating. Like the obvious sign of respect. Somebody like your doppelganger come up and just come meet you, like, hey, yeah, I saw you on TV and I wanted to do that shit. And now you out there in front of the stadium taking pictures together and having beers and shit.
I can't wait to beat Raider Jackal and shit and get a picture with him. I mean,
exactly.
That's gonna be awesome to find both of us in there in the straight. I love
if I'm close, I'm photobombing that motherfucker.
Hey, I'm telling you, but like you said, they did the right thing, the respectful thing, which in my book did not need to be done. But I appreciate that even more. It's just one of those, you hear that, it's supposed to be for one game, okay, whatever. Then it goes, okay, he's doing it. I mean, I go like, I'm friends with them on Instagram and everything, and shout out to Our Lady of Raider Nation. I think she's got a roast coming up.
Oh,
and, in Vegas, she's a comedian and she's got a group of guys coming up. They're doing a roast and doing Super Friends. And catch it. If I would get the stuff and we will put it on here because I sent in my picture and Asylum is going to be one of the guys being roasted by one of the comedians. I don't know who yet and everything. So you know what? All I gotta say is talking shit. It's all good. I can't wait to hear it.
I'm gonna try to be there and drunk as hell. That's raw as shit. You know what? And it's a trip because this whole roasting thing is starting to take. Hey, what's going on, Puppet? What's going on, my brother? This whole roasting thing is taking on a whole new energy. They're trying. I can feel Hollywood grabbing for straw, trying to figure out a new money cow. But nowadays, roasting has just become raunchy. Roasting used to actually be an art. And
back in the Dean Martin days.
Dean Martin, they were roasted motherfuckers. Those were roasts. And we did our best. And in 1999, I got a VHS tape around this motherfucker somewhere. I got all this shit. I found it. If you got the equipment to help me digitize this shit, I'm telling you, I got the footage that you need. That's the basis of my show. I just don't have a fucking machine to convert this shit to digital. But then we did a roast for Tim Del Rosario for Raider Fan Magazine in 1999, I think it was. And I was actually one of the roasters.
Hey, there's an art to roasting. I'll
There's an
say
art
that.
to it, you know. I was told that I was one of the better ones. I went easy. You know, because I don't like raunchy shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to hurt a motherfucking feelings to hurt a motherfucking feelings. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just certain shit. Like I watched the Tom Brady thing. I tried. It took me a few times to get through it because I just trying to appreciate the people. But they reading all this scripted crap that they're supposed to say, almost like a fraternity dare or some shit. And it sounds so stupid, some of the shit that they were saying, but you know, it's just like that's not roasting. That's like somebody that got some deep seated hate getting off a few free barbs on national TV. A roast is supposed to be artful. The one lady did it though. That Nikki lady, her shit was raw. I don't know if you've seen it, but
yeah, no, I saw it. Nikki Glazer. Oh, I fucking loved her.
Her shit was off the chain.
She did it right. She was the best one, I think, of the night.
That was a roast. Even the Kevin Hart shit was a little bit sketchy. He was a little too drunk. You know what I mean? He was just trying to be off of star power. But that lady came to perform.
I think he was trying too hard.
He was trying too hard. He was trying way too hard. I think he sounded like that Monique lady at first. I'm like, man, this dude, you got to get your own style, man. You know what I'm saying? But ain't none of my business. He doing it. You know, who am I to hate? But I think if we had RaiderMan hosting a roast, I should be off the fucking hook.
All I gotta say is, yeah, go to Our Lady of Raider Nation on Instagram. I know she's got posts about it. Find out when it is. I know it's coming up. I think it's soon.
Our Lady.
Go to the roast. They ask for people, super fans. I hate that word, but super fans. Super fan.
That shit make my.
I hate that word. I mean,
that shit kills me, man. It's something. We don't even have to go into it. We got to say that for episode. We're doing like when we just having shots. Every time that word come up, we got to take a shot.
I only use that because that's the universally recognized word for fans who dress up, you know, or have personas, and that's the only reason I hate it. Like Captain Jack says, easily recognizable fans, costume fans. You know what? I'm just a crazy guy who wears a straight jacket in a cage to a football game. And, you know, I don't understand. Why do you do that? And I've always said, everyone said Raiders fans are crazy, right? Well, I'm going to show you crazy. And then I turn a straight jacket into a jersey. I mean, we'll show. Oops, hold on, right here. So a quick, you know, this is back how it happened. Right here. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. You know, this is how it came. You know, the story is, you know, Charger fan said something, and I said, this is what a diehard battery or what a diehard looks like. You know, threw a diehard at him. But I mean, you see, I turned a straight jacket into a jersey. I got a cage. You know, I showed him what crazy was. And then what number do you wear? Not only was that the year that I was born, but who's the craziest Raider when you think of? It got to be Lyle Alzado.
Young Zato. He got a young name. That's why I like bringing Zato to the show, too. I figure that's like my little semi-honor to you. Young Zato, come and join your show every week.
But I want to go one comment here. You know what, Ronald? I would love that Super Bowl, but all I have to say to that is Dallas winning by 10 points. Go back to that Thanksgiving game and remember what happened last time Dallas played the Raiders.
Hey, my question is, and I'm cool with predictions. I don't want to hate Mr. Ruiz, but the prediction just sound like more of a hope on the star. Because what you basing that on, brother? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I predict the Raiders will win by 4 touchdowns. Now we even.
We can do that.
You know what they're gonna say? That don't confront me.
All right, we're moving forward on this. And I know the biggest talk right now, other than OTA starting. Well, first I wanted a precedent is if you did not catch Max Crosby's The Rush this week, go catch it because they had Aiden O'Connell on. And there's a lot of answers that have people been to questions that people have been going. One, why did he change the number 12? I got respect for the man because he said he did that because he felt, and yes, we're going to say his name on this fucking show right here, right now. So him getting the number 4 was disrespectful to Derek Carr because Carr holds a lot of the Raiders' records right now. I know everyone's going to go into the chat. It's garbage time. This, that. You know what? Carr holds a lot of the records. He was a 9-year starter for the Raiders. And in O'Connell's eyes, he wants to be better than that. But you know what? He did not want to wear the number 4 and have that be disrespectful to the guy who was playing before him. And I got respect to somebody who's like that. So he went to the number 12. Now that's another number that has a couple of names on there, big names, that's going to be hard to live up to. But, you know, I think he could do it. But, you know, there was other things in there, though. You know, everyone talking about, you know, O'Connell this, O'Connell. He says all he was trying to do was learn the position, learn what his coaches wanted, stuff like that. You know, you get to learn a lot about what he went through last season and why you saw a lot of the things that you saw, the way you saw them, and could answer questions. So if you haven't seen The Rush yet, go catch it after our show. Wait till we get off. Go watch The Rush with Aiden O'Connell, because you know what? It was actually a good one. He's had Minshew on there, and now he's had O'Connell. You watch the two, and it's got me, and we'll talk, if we got time, we'll talk about it later today, but he's got me, those two interviews on The Rush got me pumped about our quarterback room.
I want to tab in on this because I love the depth of that interview, and literally based off of what you brought out of it, because you know there was one element of what he was saying to respect Derek Carr and the decision that he made to change his number, but what I pulled out what he said was that was a respect himself. He got forced into taking that fucking number in the first place. Wait.
His original number was 59. His original number was 59.
This is my point, though. He was respecting Derek Carr in the same vein as upholding his own integrity. I thought that was masterful. That showed that this is a grown man. This man know how to communicate. That's a quarterback. We got a fucking quarterback. There's a lot of people that take their short shots because of what I think is media driven and the narratives that they keep painting about what a quarterback has to be in today's NFL and all the rest of that shit. So I don't entertain those conversations long because most of the people that's willing to argue with about them don't even have the talents to play that fucking position. So it's like, why am I forced to listen to you anyway? You know what I mean?
I mean, he even said, we all know what AP said. He wants to be a leader, more vocal. And he said, when I got given that starting job, the hardest part for me was being vocal, because how am I a fucking rookie coming in here and going to tell Devontae Adams what to do? How am I going to call out veterans who've been doing this longer than me? I didn't feel comfortable doing that at that time. I was too busy trying to learn my job. I was too busy trying to do what the coaches were asking me to do. I didn't feel comfortable being vocal. Now he transitions into now he feels different. Now he feels he could be that. He's not a rookie anymore. He now knows what has to be done, what's expected out of him, and knows, okay, he can be that vocal leader on the field that he needs to be. He just didn't feel it when he's sitting there, you know, in the Chargers game, getting sacked 7 fucking times. You know, he even brings that up. Khalil Mack having a career game. You know, he brought up the Vikings game where he turned around and, you know, was frustrated because he couldn't move the ball.
Man, I think that's a lot of Aiden O'Connell just falling on the shield, bro. He's falling on the sword. What he's trying not to say is that dude, Josh McDaniel, I'm going to be respectful. I don't like fucking up people's names. I know people got all these little sophomore things they like to say, but, you know, realistically, he earned his spot in the fucking NFL, and I don't know how the hell he end up as our fucking head coach. But that guy, he tried to demoralize that young man. And not only it was like inside fucking espionage, the bullshit that was pulled on that young man, and that kid still walked through that fucking fire. He was forced to take that fucking number. He didn't even want that fucking number.
No, he wanted 9. You saw the rest.
Another thing that he said in the interview was that when he came out of school, he wore 12. You know, he chose 12 of his own volition. You know, he made some inferences to say, and it's going back to what you were saying. I believe it wasn't so much about the game situations and what was going on with the team that was hindering him from being able to talk, as much as the simple moving of that fucking coach. When you got Coach AP in there, you got somebody that's going to stand by me, and you're going to believe in me, and you're not going to fucking undercut me. And he gave him that starting position. No, he didn't give him. He earned that position by being willing to walk through the fire with his coach. And the coach didn't abandon him after the season. And he stood by him in every interview that he had and said, hey, this guy earned the first snap. He did this. He put himself in position, and we're going to fucking back it. Now, he still got to win the job, but that's what creates the confidence for a motherfucker to be able to say, okay, look, Devontae, I don't give a shit who you are. I need you on your spot. That's what creates quarterbacks. That motherfucker, Josh McDaniels, for all the credit he get for being an offensive guru, he was doing that shit with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's already a fucking quarterback.
Oh, and Tom Brady made, we all know.
Tom Brady made him. And I don't like Brad. I don't like Brady. But no, it's not about me not liking Brady. I don't have anything against Brady. It's our fault for not fucking drafting him. I don't have a problem with that. I refuse to do that. My thing about it is the narrative that's been painted for Tom Brady is unnecessary because Tom Brady is great in his own ilk. He don't need all the special treatment that he got. But because he's getting it, he get to be Superman. He can play baby Jesus. I don't blame that on him. That's the NFL. They're going to do that shit. They always find a fucking cow to milk the money out of. I just don't like them coming to take over our shit. He ain't Raider. He shouldn't be talked about in our shit. But since all this shit is moving, we forced to kiss his ass about shit that didn't have nothing to do with us. We got fucked over to build that man's career. And that shit just don't sit right with me. So there's a degree of separation in mine.
Tom Brady grew up I don't want to say down the road, a couple of towns over from where I did in California. He grew up in San Mateo. Yeah. I was in Fremont, Hayward, Union City. I was in all that. I mean, he was 30 minutes away from me. But, Brady's Brady. We know he built, he's the reason that McDaniel's offense worked so well. He was not telling Brady what to do. Brady was doing what he wanted to do. We know that. McDaniel's problem was he came in here and turned around and said, you're going to do shit my way. And if you don't like it, you're not going to be here. And I honestly think he tried sabotaging O'Connell for the simple fact of that way he wouldn't have to hear Raiders fans calling and asking for O'Connell because Garoppolo was not doing the job.
That's possible, but I think sometimes it's just as simple as some assholes are just that fucking insecure. He really just not a good coach. And he's not a leader of men. And he got into a situation with a man who's supposed to be just a little punk-ass fourth-round rookie that walked into his office that was an articulate, strong, young man that was culpable and capable of running that fucking team. And just going back to your point about Garoppolo, no, but I got Garoppolo in mind. We just gonna sit you, and this kid keep competing and keep showing that Garoppolo can't fuck with him. So he had to keep putting the hurdles taller and taller to make him keep tripping over him. And I think that's sad. That's like espionage, bro. That's fucked up.
On that, though, in preseason, he beat out Hoyer for the backup job.
Hoyer shouldn't even been our fucking third-string quarterback. That motherfucker should have never been getting a dime.
But he put O'Connell as third string so he wouldn't get any reps with starters. He did everything he could to help push O'Connell down. And, O'Connell even said after that first Chargers game, his confidence was, he had to get his confidence back. And then to sit there and have to sit, 2, 3, 4 weeks after that game and let that kind of shit stew? That does not work.
Demoralizing, bro. Fucking demoralizing. And for a young man, I mean, that's equivalent to throwing fucking David Carr out there with the Texans and letting them defensive linemen beat all up on his ass like this. We drafted you to be the savior. Motherfuckers, so what? I can't do this. You know what I mean? And Aiden O'Connell was up to it. He was and this, like I said, I speak from the outside looking in. I don't like to try to sound like I know more than what I really do. Because, with so much media coverage and everybody wanting to be first with information, that shit bleeds over in the conversation. Like, I start talking like I actually interview motherfuckers. I've actually been there and done things to be in the mix of what this whole narrative is being created. As a fan, I'm speaking germane to what I see in perspective of my team. And all of these assholes are getting skewed because they trying to make heroes out of the fucking guys. Heroes get created over time. We don't need you to sell me no fucking jerseys. I'm a fucking Raider fan. And Raider Nation should be run by the fan, for the fans, by the fans, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The minute they change that shit up, and they started pumping all these fucking narratives in there, you end up with a Brian Hoyer on your fucking roster. I mean, it wasn't no need to have 3 quarterbacks in the fucking first place. You know what I mean? But the whole point about it is you got these geniuses that are there to tell us what we don't know because they're the experts. They come in this motherfucker from East Coast. Oh, here, come on, let's go do sit down. I'm going to tell you about your team. And that shit gets lost in the sauce because they don't even fucking know what the hell they talking about. And we almost missed out on a great quarterback prospect. And I'm going to say this again. Aiden O'Connell, in my assessment, is a young gun fighter who's earned every motherfucking thing that he's ever got in this life. The people that's willing to diminish him because, oh, he happens to be a white man, all these dumbass titles. Fuck that. Quarterback is quarterback. You don't have to be no fucking running, scrambling, running gun and all the rest of that bullshit to be the quarterback. All you have to do is win, which is why every Derek Carr conversation is touchy for me because you can have every fucking record in the book. But if the ones in the win column ain't the one that you're bragging about, we're having a bad conversation. Our moniker is just win, baby. The minute that stopped being the most motherfucking important thing to the fans, and then all of a sudden the Raider fans just wanted number 4 jerseys, we kind of lost our identity. It started to skew us as fans. And now that we back to the main thing, we back at watching fucking performance, we back to commitment to excellence, we back to pride and poise. Now we're going to find out what our quarterback do with a fucking offensive line that's built to fucking win. You know, with a running back tandem that you can't predict what the fuck we doing. With a tight end tandem that's really more like a bunch of fucking wide receivers that's big as shit that you can't do shit about. And Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. You know, our shit keep getting, our shit is getting better by the minute. And people are missing out on it with all this bitching and moaning because the narrative keep feeding that we need a certain kind of guy. Peek and dig on what the coach has done. The coach said Aiden O'Connell's getting the first start. Max Crosby, the leader of our team, said this is our leader. This is who we're following. This kid has stepped up on his own volition, walked through the fire, is in there competing right now. And you got people, just like with Thayer Mumford, people are undercutting the talent that we have on this fucking team because these narratives are painting that we ain't good enough. We don't have this. We don't have that. I ask one question and one question only. Who the fuck are they? Because this is my team. And I believe that Aiden O'Connell going to come out and have a year similar to what C.J. Stroud had last year. Because we're going to have a fucking direction and we have a coach that actually give a shit about him. And that translates to the fucking wins on the field for a fucking quarterback. And you got a general manager that know what the fuck he's doing and that's bona fide by the coach that he working next to. And these dudes is working in tandem to win. We ain't scared of shit. And then you got a Gardner Minshew, a great personality guy with a whole lot of fucking talent that's coming to that motherfucker to compete. Because compete means it's like iron sharpens iron. That's what the Bible says. I know everybody don't do the Bible thing, but that's a RaiderMan thing. And iron sharpens iron. So are the wounds of a brother. When you going at it because you want to win something real bad, you can't do nothing but get better. Derek Carr never had that. And that cost us a hell of a lot of wins. So you can be as much a fan as you want to, but it's not his fault that he wasn't cultured to win. We are back on that motherfucking page. And it's our job to hold the fucking front line as a standard. This is how we do it. This ain't Montel Jordan shit, man. Raider Nation was started in the pits when we was a sorry-ass fucking team. There was nothing to cheer for. There was nothing to cheer for. We built this whole fucking brand in obscurity.
17-year season ticket holder, and I went to more losses than I did wins.
Right.
And yet, you know what? I still went every fucking Sunday, every fucking Thursday. Whenever that game was, I was there. We're going to move. We're going to transition, though, since you kind of started talking about wins and everything. And we're going to go into the schedule, and we want your opinions on things and everything. So here we got the schedule. We got it broke down a little bit better with stats and everything. But just want to go back out there. We start off with the Chargers, go to the Baltimore, Then we have Carolina, the Browns, the Donkeys, Steelers, the Rams, Kansas City, our biggest nemesis right now. We get to play, last time we played the Bengals, that was in a playoff game. People got to remember that. That was a playoff game that we almost won if it wasn't for a fucking phantom whistle. And I think this bye comes at the perfect time, right in the middle of the season. Right, everything's going, bam, players are tired, week 9, I think the bye comes perfectly, and then we go, to Miami again, then we get the Broncos, Kansas City, which that's the game I'm a little pissed off about, that Black Friday, Kansas City, the NFL fucked me over. The one game I get to go to for sure, and I can't go because I'll be in fucking New York with the family. The family's nothing against them, but god damn it, why'd you have to do that?
Get it out, man. Get it all out. How you really feel?
Then we go to Tampa Bay. Then we get the Falcons, which it's going to be an interesting game because I'm not going to lie. When things first started, I said I wanted Kirk Cousins, not $480 million, but I said I wanted Kirk Cousins. And then there's a chance, depending on how things go, the guy that everybody else was wanting, other than Daniels, was Michael Penix. So there's a chance we might be playing Michael Penix. Who knows? Then we go to the Jags. Then the game that I'm sure a lot of people are circling, second to last game against the Saints. Going back to play against our former quarterback, who we've talked about, Derek Carr. That should be an interesting game, and ending the season with the Chargers again. So we're going to go into with this graphic here. Week 1 here against the Chargers, September 8th. It says away, but technically we all know that's a home game. That's LA. Raiders own LA. Last time we played them, we lost. Their record last year was 5-12. They finished dead last. How do you think this game's going to go?
I think we're going in and go kick their fucking ass. And this, I don't want to discount the true competition between us and the Chargers organization, the team, but I believe that we're in a much more stable place than they are. Not taking anything away from Harbaugh and all that shit, but there was a little interview yesterday that they did with Denzel Perryman, one of our recent free agents that went over there to LA, and he's talking about basically what he alluded to was just how challenging it is for him to kind of basically the way he said it was take Harbaugh seriously. He said he literally reminds him of listening to Will Ferrell. And he wasn't making a crack at him like he don't respect him or nothing like that. But I'm saying that with that culture change, I believe that it's going to take them some time to truly gel and meld together and really kind of start doing what he really intends to do. And not only will they be weakened in that state, but we're coming in just as strong, coming in bona fide in what we've done, building. I believe that Aiden O'Connell's going to be chomping at the bit to show what he can do against Justin Herbert and go in there and go put a fucking thumping on those guys, put up some points. And with our defense coming in there running and gunning, I think we have an opportunity to literally run up the score on the Chargers, and I wouldn't be shocked if we beat them by 2 touchdowns.
I agree with you there. I have that one as a win as well. As everyone knows, I'm just going to go quick on my end. Me and Oakland Raiders Savage already did this last week. So, I'll go through. Even Oakland Raiders Savage has that one as a win. Now, Baltimore, we're in Baltimore. It's an early game, a 10 a.m. game. Ravens lead the series against us 9-4. Last meeting was in 2021. We won that one in overtime. I remember that game. That was week 1.
Yeah, week 1.
Season. Their record last year was 13-4. They lost to the Chiefs in the championship game. What do you feel about this game?
I wouldn't be shocked to see us take a L here. Baltimore is coming in with a rejuvenated Lamar Jackson. They're adding Derrick Henry to the mix. He's coming in presumably healthy. We'll see how that is by week 2. And they got a lot of new pieces in their offensive weaponry. You know, Zay Flowers showed improved last year big time. As a rookie, I think he's going to be a pinnacle part of their offense this year. They're not going to be doing the gimmick shit that I think that they tried to pull with like OBJ, trying to bring him in and add him to the mix. I think they're going to have a more direct and a more projected way of operating, and I think they're going to be running and gunning on business. So even though a lot of teams start a little slow early in the season, with them adding Derrick Henry and having that ability to run the ball and establish that running game, we might be up a really tough task for week 2. I wouldn't be shocked to see us lose that in a close one.
I have this one as a loss as well. I agree with you. Derrick Henry, Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson, just the running there. Not to mention, the passing game, which, they can do. They could put up points. And I think going to the East Coast, and being an early game too.
Yeah.
And being an early game, I had that one as a loss, but actually Oakland Raiders Savage had that one as a win.
Yeah, and I can see that. It's an early game. A lot of the time we win more on the road a lot of the time. So I can see, the exuberance there.
Now we go to week 3 at home, our home opener against the Carolina Panthers. We lead the series 4-3. Our last meeting was in 2020. We beat Carolina 34-30. Their record last year was 2-15. What do you feel about this game?
I feel like we really better establish some momentum going in this game and look to beat their ass. This team that's doing their best to build, and in their mind, they're building it the right way. They have a way that they want to go, and then they're endeavoring that. I don't think that they can fuck with us on any level with the strength of our team as it stands. And I believe with strong, solid quarterback play and a returning defense that we should stomp a mud hole in their ass on purpose, because alluding to the next week, I don't think that Cleveland is going to be that easy of a game, even though I do believe we're going to win that one too.
Oh, you got the Cleveland as a win? Okay.
I see Cleveland as a win as well.
Both me and Savage both have the Carolina game. Yeah, we kind of feel the same way. That one should be, I don't want to say an easy win because this is an NFL team.
Fuck that. We got to start being able to consider some teams some easy wins. And I think that the Carolina Panthers and the vulnerability of having the second-year Bryce Young, still trying to figure out how they're going to even put a fucking offensive line out there. But the defensive line we got coming in with Christian Wilkins and Mad Max and Kuntz, and then find out what Tyree can do. Shit, we should have fucking 19 sacks that game. You know what I mean? Fuck that. That's a game that I think that we should come out to literally try to make an example for our fans that, hey, look, the Raiders are back. This is our first victim. Watch them roar on the fucking ground in pain. And literally send a message. Like Cleveland, we want you motherfuckers next. That's the way I see it. And that's no disrespect to the NFL team. Fuck them. We come for their ass.
34 points again and not be as close as what the last time we played them, 34-30. I think it's going to be like 34-20 or some shit like that.
I think our offense in that game should set a standard like who was it that said they used to put oh my God, I don't want to mess up who said it. But they used to make a competition for like interceptions in the defensive backfield. They put it up on the board, how many picks we're gonna have this week, how many picks we're gonna have this year, and count them out. You gotta set a bar for yourself. And I think the offense is as much alacrity as we showed last year and the discombobulation of that entire season. The offense needs to come out and set a standard that, look, we are here to compete. In this game, building up to game 3, we go in a high-power fire game against the Chargers, and we're going to set an example against them. We go out to the East Coast and win or lose. We put some serious points on the board against Baltimore's defense, and then we come home against the fucking Carolina Panthers, and I say put up at least, I think the offense should have a bare minimum 3 touchdowns and at least 3 to 4 field goals. I prefer to put more touchdowns on the board, but I just want to see a consistent string of scoring because I believe our defense is going to shut their ass out. And we liable to have a good pick six and a fumble recovery or something on defense that's going to add, 14, 25, 21 points. So I think this is going to be a fucking blowout.
I feel Marcus Epps is finally going to get his first interception as a Raider by week 3.
Yeah, and even though, and I want to say this on behalf of Marcus Epps, I don't know that dude at all, like personally, but he's been a hell of a field leader out there, and it hasn't translated into interceptions like statistically, but I believe that his coaching against Merrick or his competing against Merrick got Merrick a couple of interceptions that he didn't actually think he would probably get, especially since a couple of them he got one-handed, out there playing with the fucking cast on. But I think that dude is being more of a coach and field leader, which is what he was really actually brought here to do. I think he's doing a great job, and people are looking for steps.
I love Epps. Everything he's doing, he's doing what was asked of him to be that leader, to put the secondary in positions that they needed to be put in. He's the leader. He's the captain of that secondary.
Yeah, I think he's doing that.
And I wouldn't even mind if we extend his contract out for another couple of years.
He's a coach on the field. I like extending coaches, man. It's like, and it's to be seen because one that has to be weighed out over the season with the incoming talent because there is a new regime per se coming in with this coaching staff and under Telesco. So I believe over the next couple of years, there has to be a little bit of credence played to that. Some of our favorite names might disappear because, as they say, they weren't their guys. It's going to be a little bit hard to say that, because they become these guys. But, the truth of the matter is when you're making business decisions, especially balancing books and shit like that, you can't really project out that far. And in a 10-year like his could command a pretty good penny. So with the incumbent talent, like that kid that we just drafted out of North Carolina State, if he fuck around and come in and go strong at corner and maybe move some other talent around and we be able to, circumvent some cap by moving his ass.
I'm hearing good things about the kid, Trey. I forget his last name. Out of Air Force.
Dude that we got out of Air Force, man. I'm telling you, better
about him already.
Better keep your eyes on that safety room. You know what I mean?
And being able to learn from a guy like Marcus Epps,
right? You know what I mean? So I like that. I like it when if you can lock down coaches on the field, you do it. But I think that we're gonna have to, and I don't say demand because a lot of people try to get pushy there, but I would do my best to communicate to him that we really could use a team-friendly deal. If you're looking to break the bank and get the money that he quote unquote deserves, it might be a little bit tough.
I don't see him doing that. I think he likes where he's at. I think he sees, he came here on a relatively team-friendly deal. We're not overpaying him.
Already did a favor. Right. That's my point. He already did a favor.
And if obviously you don't have to pay him a little bit more, but you don't have to break the bank on him. I think you can sign him on a deal similarly to what he's already signed, and he'll be happy with that.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I don't want to speak for another man and what they think, but I will say if he was to, like, say for instance, if he was to come out and have even a similar year, well, not a similar year, but he has the same kind of a year, but a full year of production with us, that would end up being a better year. And statistically, with a better year, you deserve more money. So it's like, okay, you're playing this game with the satisfaction thing, but you can say that early in the season. We can say that before, in OTAs, but around week 5, week 6, week 7, you watch some dude that's not as good as him fuck around and get a contract. That kind of shit changes how people feel. So he may emotionally appreciate where he is and all that kind of shit, but I reserve, the cautious optimism when it comes to true veteran leaders like that, because they can't be discounted and truly feel appreciated. So there's got to be a way to find that happy medium, and that's not always possible because sometimes motherfuckers just open up the checkbook and say, fuck that, I want that guy. And if he gets that opportunity, who are we to say what he should or shouldn't do? I would say go get what you can get. But if he really, really love us like that, you got to start that negotiation early.
$12 million contract. He's on a 2-year, $12 million contract right now. If you sign him for another 2 years, and up that to 18 million.
Oh, well, now see that's a significant raise, though. You see what I'm saying? That's not pennies. That's
significant.
I thought you was gonna say like 13 million or something like that. I'm like, nah, 13 would be like a slap in the face.
I'm saying like 18. That's still team friendly,
right?
You know, that's still team friendly. That's not a huge contract.
No,
it's another
that's not
2 years. You know, it's another 2 years, or maybe give him
showing some respect too. That's putting a little bit of respect on his name. That's a good contract.
You know that's showing we like what you did for us. We want you to continue to do this, and we understand. You know, like you said, his numbers, whether the numbers are showing with interceptions or not, you have to see the other shit he's doing on the field, and that's more important than those numbers.
It's more important than them numbers. You know what I'm saying? That dude is doing shit that don't qualify on stat sheets. And I love that because we haven't had that in such a long time. And you know, that's a field stabilizer. So I'm with you there. You definitely want to put something out there that he can bite on and make it respectable. I mean, 18 so close to 19, give him 19. You know me, that's a good round number. But the main thing about it is, you know, you want to make sure that you're leaving the provision to truly keep building our team from the trenches. Because, you know, it's like, you know, you start setting that precedent on the back end and those can kind of start spreading for whatever reason.
So we're gonna move on to the Browns. You said that one was a win?
I believe that the Browns is a win. And that's regardless of how good their team is. That game is being played in Las Vegas. And damn it, we need to establish a home field advantage. Fans be damned. We need the team to say, fuck that. Only we win here. And I don't think the Browns got it to come in there and beat us in Las Vegas.
Well, me and Savage disagree. We both had this one as a loss.
Why do you feel like it's a loss? I'm just curious.
I think you take Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Watson out.
Deshaun Watson.
You take him out of the equation. Their defense is good. Is a good defense. Their offense, if they get Chubbs back, especially, you know, and he had a hell of an injury last year.
Right.
It was an ugly injury. You bring him back. I think that's one of those ones that I think it's going to be similar to like this game, you know, that we played them last where we won 16-14. I think it's going to be something similar to that. I just think that's going to be one of those ones with their defense, which they, you know, they're a good team right now.
See, I don't feel that. I feel the respect for them, but I turn this game. Okay, let me go ahead and put the RaiderMan name on this one. I believe that's the first Aiden O'Connell game. That's the game that Aiden O'Connell puts the Raiders team on his back and say, I don't give a shit. We're not losing to this fucking team.
I like that. I like that right there. O'Connell fucking stepping up and being the leader that everyone says he needs to be.
That's AO12 game right there. RaiderMan prognostication.
Well, we got that. I like it so far. Right now, your win-loss record as of right now is the same as Savage. I'm 2-2. You and Savage both have it as 3-1 right now. I can live with that. I like that. We won't have to bring you on that after that week, that recap, and we're gonna have to talk about your prediction. We'll bring this back up and go. I hope you're right on that. I like that.
I want to come up before that one too. I want to make sure I'm up there after the Carolina game to make sure we get a precursor going into that Cleveland game, because I do believe that Carolina game is going to be an ass-whooping game. So we'd be all high and mighty, and then our feelings, oh yeah, Raiders unstoppable shit, and then somebody in the media going, oh, with the big old badass Browns, and then we can go back to this week when RaiderMan said, fuck that, this AO12 game, and he's not losing to this team. Deshaun Watson is not a better quarterback than me today. Period.
No, I'm taking Watson out. I agree. I don't think Watson is you know, a great quarterback. You know, all that. And like I said, I took him out of everything else and was just going off of everything. You know,
I also don't think that Chubbs is going to be that big a factor in that game. I'm hoping the best for the brother to be able to bounce back from such a gruesome injury. But he tore everything in that fucking knee, and regardless of. In my mind, I think career is second in his mind right now. He got to work on rehab. He got to get his.
No. I agree with that. And Chubbs is going to be a factor. And, you know, being this early in the season, he might still be nervous about that knee. He might not be.
That's a big one. you got to watch out for that kid Ford. They drafted a guy last year. I forget his name. That dude
Ford, I
Ford.
had him in my fantasy. I had him in my fantasy until he got hurt too.
Yeah, he got hurt too. So that's what I'm saying. Their team is a lot more names on paper, believe to me, than ass on field. And they're gonna have to show us. And especially coming to Vegas, when Mad Max, motherfucker ain't gonna be intimidated by them punk motherfuckers coming in our shit. And then they come in there half-ass cock like I think they will. They gonna fuck around and end up looking like Carolina the week before.
They're gonna
I
fuck
think we're
around
gonna beat Cleveland ass.
They're gonna fuck around and find out. All right.
I think we're gonna beat Cleveland ass, and I think Aiden O'Connell gonna put a little respect on his name in that game.
Hey, I like that right there. That saying right there, I like that. I love for O'Connell to do that and solidify fucking his spot with the Raiders and Raiders fans right there by saying, "I got this." I like
right.
that.
That's
you
right.
Got me hyped for that game. You got me hoping I'm wrong on that game.
Hey, we both in a damn straight jacket. It looked like RaiderMan copying you that game.
All right, moving on. We got Denver in week 5. At Denver.
We're beating the fucking Broncos ass. Move on to week 6.
Okay. Hey, I got that as a win too. So the Savage, that was easy. Now we go to the Steelers.
I think we owe their ass one. And I don't want to discount nothing they doing because the potential for them at this point of the season, they had the potential to have a good lather worked up with whichever one of those quarterbacks actually wins out in camp. But they also had the potential to be completely flamed out by that time.
I think it's going to be Russell Wilson at this point.
Well, the whole thing about it is with either one of them, because I believe that Justin Fields has the upper hand on winning the job with athleticism and shit. But if Russell Wilson ain't the better athlete and he's forced to win the games mentally, forced to win over that locker room with his mentality,
they're similar quarterbacks. They are similar quarterbacks. And when it comes down to it, I think the experience of Russell Wilson wins him that job.
Yeah, you mean over Fields?
Over Fields, yes.
And so my thing is, if he's the starting quarterback, being Russell Wilson, I'm curious what the mentality of that team will be by that juncture of the season. Because for whatever reason, he's not having a real positive impact on being a leader of men. And so I will be curious, like, who they play coming up to this game against us, coming into our house. And I will be curious to know where, like, say, for instance, if they had a bye the next week and what their mentality is, or if they're coming out of a bye or some shit like that. Because, be honest, I don't think Pittsburgh Steelers can fuck with us. And I don't want to discount their talent because we don't really know what they're coming with. They're a complete anomaly right now, but we're not. And this is our house. And no different than a couple of weeks before against the fucking Browns. We don't give a shit about who you think you are and what you're supposed to be. Our job is to dominate home advantage, and we're here to beat y'all ass. So I think we win. I think we beat the Steelers by 10 to 13 points.
I also have us beating the Steelers as a revenge game for last year. I think Russell Wilson is going to be the starter, and we played Russell Wilson already. We know what to expect out of Russell Wilson. And unfortunately, Savage has that one. He feels that one's a trap game. And
you know what? Really quick, though, I would caution against expectations about Russell Wilson's play. Because I feel like Sean Payton didn't really help Russell Wilson. I don't think they were working together. And he let Russell Wilson take the fall. So I don't think that Russell Wilson is as bad as he looked, nor as good as he was hyped up to be.
I also think Russell Wilson's going to have a chip on his shoulder, because of what happened with Sean Payton. And he's going to come out this year. And by the time we play him in week 6, they could be 4-2. I don't know their schedule. I don't know. They could be 4-2. They could be, on a hot roll going on at that particular moment.
Well, they coming to Vegas to get their ass beat. That's what I'm saying.
Again, I agree with you on that one. I think that one comes out.
They can be doing whatever the fuck they want to be doing. When they come to Vegas, they getting their ass ski-skirted.
So you and me agree on that. Savage, like I said, thinks that's a trap game. Has us Actually, I believe if I remember correctly, and if anybody is on here who watched the show can correct me, I think he said we lose this game by a field goal.
I don't know. You had to show me that. But, that's his prediction. He entitled to it. My prediction is 10-13. I can't guarantee mine either, but I think we're going to beat their ass.
So we move on going back to our second home in Los Angeles again, this time to play the other team that plays in that same stadium, the LA Rams.
I think that's the trap game. I think that's the trap game for a couple of reasons. One, the Rams aren't as bad as people keep writing them off to be, and we are going into their house. And the bona fide for that is how kind of entitled we become as a fan base with, this is our other home and all that shit. Like we don't really attack it the same fervor anymore. So I kind of lean that game on, I don't know, let's call it Raider Nation. The fan base is really truly what we claim it is, and we give a true home field advantage and be able to say, oh yeah, that's our home away from home, then potentially the Rams will have a serious problem with us. But they got a lot of pieces coming back this year from injury, and that Puka Nacua dude was an anomaly that they still learning how to use him and the Cooper Cup together. So, Matthew Stafford is healthy. They bona fide in their backfield. They running on all eight cylinders again. And that's going to be a game where we got to make sure we're not looking ahead to trying to make sure we win against KC. We got to concentrate on winning that fucking game if we're going to win that fucking game. So to me, that's the trap game.
So do you have us winning or losing it?
I'm going to call it a loss because we got KC the next week at home, and I'd rather win that game. So if we're going to lose a game, I'll say the Rams game, and then we win the KC game.
I have us winning that game. And what the Savage? Hold on.
I still think we're going to win that game, but, I guess see what my total is at the end.
As a win, I have it is they don't have Aaron Donald no more. They do have Sean McVay. I do think that it's going to be a tough game. I'm not going just because LA is our second home, everything like that. I don't think it's necessarily a trap game. I think this is one of those games that we're prepared for. This is the game you gave that Aiden O'Connell put the team on his back to win.
Yep.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
this is the game I think he does it on.
I love it.
This is the game I think he comes out and shows. Not only can he be, we're going to use this word as much as I hate it, mobile, but show what he's capable of doing, and is going to be in this game.
I love that. I can actually see that. And regardless of the mobile part, regardless if he has to be mobile or not, I believe that because he's competing against a Matthew Stafford, against a team, and the reason why it's a trap game for me is because the Rams are in a transfer of identity. They're becoming who they are. Nobody really knows, including them, who they are yet. So, and then they're not bad. So considering they're a pretty decent team and they're going to be using a lot of new weapons, there's really no book on this team right now. So, and Aiden O'Connell coming out and stepping up and just taking the bull by the horns, that will be a classic case scenario of, fuck your team, we going to the damn playoffs. That would actually show me, regardless of a winner or loss the next week against Kansas City, that we going to the playoffs. Aiden O'Connell come up and do that game like I claim he gonna do in week 3, I believe like you believe. I believe that we're going to the fucking playoffs.
So Kansas City,
I say we win that game. We have to win that game. Period.
As me and Savage had talked on there, we both have this one as a win. Hold on, 1, 2. Yeah, we both have it as a win. I think this is where we break we're going to call it this for now, the curse of losing to them at home. We're going to rebound off of that Christmas game. We already know we could do it. It's going to be at home. We're going to come off of a big win here in LA. Like I said, O'Connell, putting the team on his back. The defense is going to be, in their stride by this point, doing what they do, frustrating Mahomes. And I think we win this one hands down. We won't even trail in the game.
I think, and I'm gonna say this boldly, I think we're a better team than Kansas City. They've been winning more, and they have a winning tradition that we don't have, especially in the last 10 to 15 years. Nevertheless, they're an aging group of championship caliber players that's been together for a long time. Familiarity breeds contempt no matter where you are, and there's always a changing of the guard. We
Well,
showed that we can beat this team. And when
I
that
believe it.
we did
I
that
believe
without quarterback help. We did that just showing that we're a stronger, faster, better team when we really weren't the better team. We just had a lot of athletes they weren't expecting. So this time we coming into a fight with the motherfuckers where they know what they coming to get. And if they can't beat us at our house in this game, Super Bowl watch the fuck out.
I believe it was Amik Robinson, who is now with the Lions, when we lost to them at home.
He said we the better team. Them motherfuckers ain't good like that.
He threw out in his interview, said we should have won that game. We were the better team.
We was caught up in that old giving their ass all the credit, giving them all the respect. Hey, they got all the fucking respect. We coming to get that motherfucking game. And it's in our house. We're not asking them motherfuckers no questions. We taking this shit to their fucking neck. That's a win.
I agree. I got that one. We all three got that one as a win coming out. So we move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. In Cincinnati, another early game. We obviously lead the series. In 2022, we lost to the Phantom Whistle in the playoff game. Do you have this as a win or a loss?
I can see us losing it only because it's going back to East Coast and after such a big emotional game, beating the shit out of Kansas City. There's a chance that we could get caught a little bit flat on the early, game the next week in Cincinnati. Potential the weather could start changing and all that kind of shit. So, who knows, about that. But that's coming in the Thanksgiving season. It's right after Halloween and all that. So that could be a little bit of a little bit of malaise game. The bye coming up, cats' minds start to wander a little bit. You're starting to kind of get a little bit banged up. You're looking for that bye week. So I can see us losing in Cincinnati, but of course I'm hoping for Aiden O'Connell pulling out his ass win.
I love that. I love for one of those two, but both me and Savage both have this as a loss as well. Some of the similar reasons. I also think.
Wait. One caveat to that though. Because this is something I'm serious about while I'm not really scared of fucking Cincinnati. Cincinnati has done a lot to fucking ruin Joe Burrow already. And I'm honestly praying for that guy that he's not like terminally damaged, that he's not like really damaged in his right throwing hand. Because there's some shit that's not right about that dude's wrist. And we could potentially win that game because they're not the same team. If we're facing fucking Browning or whatever their backup quarterback is, I can see us winning that fucking game.
Burrow's going to be in this game. I think his wrist is okay. Yes, I know what you're talking about. He had problems gripping the ball. I think Burrow will be in this game. I think we lose it on another bad call, another phantom whistle, some shit like that, some that didn't get called that ends up hurting us. I said we end up losing this game by a field goal.
Well, it's hard to argue it. And going back to the other game, I look at, even though I can say we did lose, I agree we did lose on that phantom whistle. I thought Derek Carr should have shoved that ball up their fucking ass, and he didn't. So, we got different ways of looking at it. I think that them motherfuckers should have took that game by the throat and said, fuck y'all, you want to fire me because I'm winning, then fucking you fire me because I'm winning. But that was his chance to step the team his, and he didn't take it. And now we are where we are. But, the referees did have their opportunity to get their face into the play. So, we can easily blame them. But I believe that's a game we lost rather than a game they won. And I just don't like going games the referees.
I didn't like the way the referees went, the phantom whistle. I think that took the wind out of our sails. Then we go into weekend.
Derek Carr not scrambling the ball in from the fucking 9 did too. So, it's potato.
Yeah, it is what it is. Derek Carr's not on the team no more. We got Aiden O'Connell. I think that is an upgrade right now because O'Connell's fresh. Doesn't have that history with the broken leg and being scared, all that
And
other
he
shit.
has a history of knowing that a guy that he truly respects gets denigrated for being, like overly Christian, where he shouldn't. I don't even like having that conversation. But
O'Connell's just as Christian as he is.
no, but wait, this is my point. So you have an example of a guy that you respect for all of the same qualities that you hold, but the one thing that he didn't do was win. So for me, if I'm coming in as an incumbent, the one thing that I'm going to change is the one thing that the fans hated the most, because we know how much the people love him. People can talk as much shit they want to. I can take any swipe of Derek Carr. Ain't nobody gonna convince me I don't love the fuck out of Derek Carr. He was a drafted Raider. He was and that's our kid. I can talk shit about my brother. Can't nobody else talk shit about him.
I've been a Derek Carr fan from the get-go. I don't think
I loved him. I just felt like we cursed ourselves when we went against Khalil Mack. But that's a whole, we have a show about that with drinks and shit. But, DC got denied. I don't think he was ready
Carr
for it.
broke his leg in a game that he shouldn't have been in. The year he actually made a playoff but couldn't play in it. He played the next 3 years scared, because, it was a bad injury. I don't blame him.
If they'd have done the contracts different, I believe that the team would have been different, and that could have potentially changed the fate of how that whole situation went down. We could play butterfly effect with it all we want, but the truth of the matter is that's what happened, and we just learned something about Derek Carr. Everybody don't manage pain the same. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I know it's a lot of people that, he was just soft and that shit. I've taken shots, but I don't never go too far because, one, I can't do what he does. And I'm not in that fucking position.
Of all things, that break was bad. He broke 3 vertebrae in his back and was back 2 weeks later throwing the fucking ball.
The pinky break was fucked up enough. You know what I mean? You can convince me on that one. The dude took a lot of gruesome shit. He battled. He always fought back. But, his decision-making always felt questionable. It wasn't about how tough he was.
He's another one I always call a true Raider. Now we get into the bye week, which, again, I think is perfectly placed for us as a team. We usually either get it too early or way late. Right here, it's perfectly in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it is cool to have a bye week that makes sense. So we agree there. That's crazy that it's literally smack dab right in the middle of the week because, growing up as a kid, you always just kind of expected that that's how the bye weeks went.
Yeah.
Now they got all this scheduling shit for bye weeks. Like, damn, this motherfucker scheduled bye week on week 3. The season ain't even going yet. But it's crazy because sometimes there's teams that win the fucking Super Bowl. Everybody fucking be bitching. I had my bye week too early. My bye week too late. Your bye week is where it is. You got to adapt to it and just fucking win.
Yep. But I think it comes at the perfect time. We get to heal up, get back to, coming off of a loss. We got to get our head straight and head to Miami for the second year in a row. Another early game at 10 a.m.
A game that we better win. We got to win that game. I'm calling that a win. And I'm calling it a win because this, to me, is where Coach AP establishes himself, as the kind of coach that he wants to be. Early in the part of the season, we talked about where different players may or may not have an influence and that kind of stuff. And that's always fun to kind of, gauge semantics. But the truth of the matter is, it's that coach that's going to be carrying this from that beginning point to this point. And if his standard of excellence ain't on win coming out of this bye, as to where, regardless of the outcome of that Cincinnati game, I know I alluded to, if for whatever reason, I don't want to hope against hope that Joe Burrow may not be in that game. But for whatever reason, if we don't get their top talent and we win that game, going to the bye, we go in with a shitload of momentum to go into Miami, and we better win that motherfucking game. If for whatever reason we lose that Cincinnati game, as I can expect, I think I predicted a loss. I can see a loss there. Then we have a chance to lick our wounds, and we'll find out exactly who our coach is and exactly the team that he's built going into Miami. So one way or the other, we better beat Miami ass coming out of that bye. We have to win that game.
Me and Savage have the same thing as you. We win this. We were in that Miami game last year. We weren't, it was one of those ones. We either saw it, whatever happened, we saw ourselves in the, however it went.
We were still playing with no identity. The fucking genius couldn't figure out what he wanted to do.
I think we're going to score more than 20 points. That's for damn sure. And,
remember, O'Connell was fully established by this time in the season, too.
And we caused plenty of turnovers, and we now have one of their top players on our defense.
Yeah, that's a revenge game for Christian Wilkins, for sure.
So we got that as a win.
It ain't really a revenge game as much as it is, I'm with them now. And that's what I like more about it. I like because it feels more like how it used to be when we get a motherfucking free agent off of another team, then we come back and we beat your ass across the head and face with him, Like we used to do with Lyle Alzado, go kick Denver ass and fuck Cleveland, and, shit like that.
Now, I'm sure I know this one. We move on to the Broncos game. Do we sweep them?
Hell yeah. And I don't believe it's just disrespect to just go ahead and gloss by that game. But unless somebody can tell me why we should be afraid of them, that's a moot conversation. We better sweep them motherfuckers. End of story.
Oh, I agree. I don't see why we can't. I don't see why we don't. Me and Savage both have those as wins. Now we move on to the next week.
I mean, but think about this, too. Before we just blow by it, I don't want to just blow by it. We chose Brock Bowers. Now, of course, Bo Nix had been, selected and all that. The league did us a favor by taking up all the quarterbacks because myself, and I said this from the very beginning, if it wasn't all in for Jaden Daniels, which I didn't really want to do anyway, I would have understood it, but I didn't want to do it. But once that was off the table, I'm not willing to mortgage my fucking farm for the sixth best anything. Now, of course, the quarterback is only selected in that order, so don't mean he's ranked in that order. We'll find out at the end of the season who was really actually the best. But I believe that to show the league, to show the world, and particularly these narcissistic-ass fucking Raider fans who claim that they love this team so much but only love what they want to see out of it, that Brock Bowers was so much head and shoulders a better choice than taking Bo Nix in this fucking draft.
Oh, yes.
And Aiden O'Connell beat Bo Nix across the head and the face with Brock Bowers all fucking day long and wear their ass out twice in this fucking year where everybody's scratching their head. Oh, I thought that the Raiders needed a quarterback. I thought we thought we was going to get Bo Nix. We going to beat their ass and send their ass off to the glue factory.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree 100%. I like the Bowers pickup. He helps out so many different ways. Wide receiver, running back, offensive lineman. We went through, all that. Bowers, you cannot. They keep talking about generational player, and you cannot pass up on a generational player.
Man, we did the right thing. I'm proud of Tom Telesco, man. I want to shake that man's hand and have a beer with him or whatever the fuck he drink.
When it comes down to it, the one thing I love that Telesco did is he let the draft come to him. He didn't panic. He didn't move up. He didn't move down. He said, who's available when we're picking? And we got some good players out of this. It wasn't.
I think we got great players. I literally believe we got great players. We did not
reach for a single pick.
None.
Every one of those picks we had was not a reach.
And the bona fide for me will be Delmar Glaze. Once we get to see truly who DJ Glaze is as a player, then I'll be able to truly open up and say, like, you know what? That dude's a fucking genius. Or like, okay.
Glaze is my diamond in the rough right now.
Dude.
Out of the draft, Glaze is my diamond in the rough.
If we get fucking big time out of DJ Glaze, man, we touching Super Bowl.
He could be the next Art Shell.
Man, we gonna touch Super Bowl. Glaze finna make a lot of donuts, baby.
All right, so now let's go to Kansas City. In Kansas City on Black Friday. Fuck this game. I'm not gonna be there.
I plan on being there myself. I know I got a bunch of my brother mans that want to go and do it. We did it in NOLA last year.
I'll hook you up with my booster club out here. You come out for this game. I'll hook you up with my club out here.
Love it.
The one that I started out here, and you all go do your thing. and make sure I get videos of it is all I ask.
Love it, love it. Let's start working on it now, because you know I got to come represent. You already know what we're gonna do.
Oh, dude, you come out here. I'll hook you up with the president and vice president, and I know they're gonna go, and the club will be out there, and you guys go do your thing out there. And like I said, I just wish my heart's gonna be there, but unfortunately I won't be.
Well, you know we'll have you with us because we on the inside. You're gonna be passed in. You're gonna be doing like spot clearance on the show. Be sitting at some dinner table out there in New York. We're like, hold on, let me do this little spot real quick. We didn't get it together. Fuck that. We got to go win that game. But I can see us losing it. You know, especially considering that I'm really fully expecting us to win the home game in Oakland. I mean, in Las Vegas. I know we better split. So, you know, I'm expecting us to win the game at home. I can understand us losing in Kansas City, you know, as it goes into the colder weather. But I don't see any reason why we can't win that game. So,
You
for the
got
sake
it
of prognostications, I'll put an L there. But
I have it as an L. I don't. Savage has it as a win.
I believe we can win that game.
I have it as a loss only for the reason of, Kansas City is not going to let us repeat the Christmas game in their home.
Oh, fuck them. They don't get a chance to dictate that. That's like saying we ain't going to let their ass win in Oakland. I mean, I keep calling it Oakland. In Las Vegas. I believe that.
That's because Oakland is Mecca and that's home. That's why we call it Oakland.
Right. But I believe in this scenario, and this is based off of our quarterback being brand new. I know Aiden O'Connell's with the guy that went 5-4 last year. This Aiden O'Connell is brand new, and I believe this is the third game on our list that will be the Aiden O'Connell defining game. Now this could go one or two ways, because of course I'm not, you know, expecting an injury or something like that. But this is so far into the season now that you can actually kind of say, okay, well, what if this quarterback may or may not be playing, or what if we have to have a replacement, or if Minshew has to step in and play? We have two bona fide quarterbacks walking into this game in Kansas City. One quarterback, as the kid that was the rookie last year that beat Kansas City, didn't really get the credit that he deserved for what he did in managing that game. Now he comes back as the incumbent starter with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. I believe that that's an element that Kansas City ain't really ready to see. By this far into the schedule, Aiden O'Connell has either got a hell of a lather going and ready to face Mahomes in a head-to-head battle in Kansas City, or perhaps, you know, Minshew might be doing one of them spot check games in which, you know, he always good for a game or two, and he could very well pull out a gem on the road, understanding what the game plan is. Because I think we're gonna run the ball to win against Kansas City anyway. So I don't think it's gonna be a shootout against Kansas City. I think we're gonna pound their ass the way we always do.
I love Anna's comment right here. Not if KC becomes unhinged by then. I see Kansas City turning on each other. The players.
Yep. See? That's a great comment. Who is that? Anna Diaz? Great commentary, Anna. Kansas City ain't shit, man. We ain't scared of them motherfuckers. Familiarity breeds contempt, man. They can't keep up this fucking facade for so long. Our division been sorry. The Broncos suck. San Diego's a fucking farce, and we've been a damn joke. We are no longer that joke. We got to punch.
Not a joke. Nope, not no more. So
they got to face us. And they getting tired. They should unravel them while our shit getting sharp. I'm feeling like Anna. They could be eating each other. They could be a fucking flesh-eating disease by this far into the season.
I hope so.
I'm planning on being at that game. I'm coming out there to talk shit.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'll hook you up with my club out here. I wish I could be out here, but like I said, I'll be in New York that day.
We're coming represent.
Trust me, I'll be watching the game. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I'm watching the game, but I just won't be able to be there.
Shit, we might be going live. You might be watching us in the parking lot.
Right. I'll be there.
We got modern technology on our side nowadays.
So we move on to Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, as sketchy as it seems to be able to win an early game, you know, we already on East Coast. We got to go down south to Florida. And that's always a tough game for us because normally the weather shit start acting all weird. Baker Mayfield had the game, his season of all seasons last year. And, you know, they solidifying that team. They looking to build. So, I don't know. I could see us losing a close one in Tampa Bay, but I can also see us literally winning that game by a good solid touchdown, and because of solid play from our quarterback.
But you got it as a win or a loss.
If KC is a loss, I'm gonna call Tampa Bay a win. No, well, I want to be. Uh, I hate that. I think we could beat Kansas City. I want to beat Kansas City, but we're not. I don't know if we can sweep Kansas City.
I don't think we're sweeping Kansas City.
Kansas City will be an L. I think we could bounce back and beat Tampa Bay. Fuck that. I'm going to win Tampa Bay.
You're different. Both me and Savage have this one as a loss. I think this is the first time we lose 2 games in a row.
That's what I'm avoiding. And that's why I really, even though that's a fair assessment, I don't want to concede to it. So I think my prediction is more with my heart than my head in this one. But I honestly believe that we've turned that corner from being that myopic team. I believe that
I agree.
I think we got the depth to be honestly able to go to Florida and win that game.
I just think it's another early game. Baker Mayfield, he came on to 2 days, 3 days, whatever it was, came out and beat us when he was with the Rams.
Yeah, but we were in disarray at that time. That was
we were, but what Baker put together last year, I think shows some shit, and I think this is a close. I said we lose this one by a field goal.
Well, I feel like we can go in there and go and win that game, and especially if the pronostication is that they can only beat us by a field goal coming into their house, I fully believe we can win that game because that team ain't as good as our team, and I give credence to a home team, and especially being over there in South Florida and all that kind of shit with the weather and just whatever it is about it that make it tough to play for us out there. However, we're a different team under new management, and we coming in that motherfucker with an identity. The last few times that we played that team, we didn't have an identity. So we got caught chasing their ass around the ring trying to fight they fight. I believe that we're going to drag their ass out in the deep water and drown them in this game. I don't think they got the fortitude to deal with us. We're deeper than they are on defense. We deeper than they are on offense. On offense, they rely so heavily on Mike Evans, and he deserved to get his money, and so did Baker Mayfield. But Chris Godwin's been banged up. That rookie that they draft, he's no big world beater or whatever. Give him credit for what credit is due. But what they really got to threaten us on their offense. I like the kid, Rashad White or whatever his name is, out of the backfield. But we got linebackers that can cover his ass out of the backfield, and he ain't no big banging bruiser ass dude. We can knock fumbles out that kid.
I remember correctly, they got a running game as well.
They got a decent running game, but it's not like they world beaters. We can get them fumbles. I think we're going to get 2 fumbles out of that game.
Hey, I'd love to hear that. Now we move on to the Atlanta Falcons. And Anna, the guy you talk about is their kicker, Harrison Butker. He's the one who spoke at the graduation.
Well, wait, but Harrison Butker, where is he now? He in Atlanta now?
No, he's with KC.
I'm about to say, KC, he's still in KC, ain't he? I think that's a lot to do about nothing.
No, I was just responding to her comment. That's all.
Oh, got it. Yeah, but still, and I agree with Miss Anna. It's still distractions. It's still shit that they got to talk about that they should absolutely not have to be talking about right now, and that helps us.
So now we move on to Atlanta.
I think this is a pinnacle matchup with Kirk's cousin. That's if he's still in the lineup by this point of the season. I don't want to wish nothing against him, but it's been hard for him to make entire seasons.
He did have an Achilles injury, so we know once you hurt your Achilles, it's a lot easier to do a second time.
I'm going to do this real quick. I think we beat their ass, and I think we beat the Jaguars' ass to finish out strong. 2 home victories to solidify and punch our ticket to the playoffs. No accidents. Atlanta been rocking and reeling, trying to figure out what to do, hodgepodging. They got receivers now. They got running backs now. They got a quarterback now. What they don't have is any fucking excuses. I don't think they got the defense that's going to be able to deal with our offense. The last time we shit the bed with them was with whatever the hell was going on in disarray with the Derek Carr situation. And I don't think that had to do with our team talent as much as it did with our team mentality. So coming in and into our home, with whatever scenario we come out of with Tampa Bay, which I'm hoping we win that game, but I believe that we're coming home to do business. And we're going to beat Atlanta ass on that Monday night because that's a fucking prime time game. And they starved us all our fucking prime time games all season. That's our time to show and fucking prove. So they ass get to get their head cut off. And then everybody talk shit on our quarterback, and they want Trevor Lawrence to be the fucking next coming to, baby Jesus. So we're going to have to show their ass something that their team ain't as good as ours. They beat our ass in the fucking last home game in Oakland, and we got that shit, memorialized in the E60 special. We need our revenge game against them because that game means something. That game means we go to the fucking playoffs. So we cannot lose that game.
Me and Savage both have a win against Atlanta and a loss against Jaguars. And it's funny you bring up that loss against Jaguars in Oakland because who was the quarterback who beat us?
Gardner Minshew. And I don't think there's no fucking way in the world that we lose to the Jaguars again. And if Gardner Minshew got to play in that game, I think we blow their ass out. Put that one on RaiderMan.
I like that. I like that. Like I said, we both got it going what it
That's
is.
to punch our ticket, man. If that piece of meat don't make our mouths water after all this fucking alacrity that we shown in the last few decades, then we not back. All this shit that we talking about is for naught. I'm talking about our real Raider football team is back. I truly believe that with all my heart. And I believe with a coach like AP that fully understands this league, we play in the AFC South. The motherfucker ain't no world beater. They beat the shit out of each other. Our defense, our fucking division ain't no damn world beaters. We know where the fuck they at, and they know where the fuck when we coming. And then the rest of them cats are just periphery games that we need to win to solidify our playoff berth. And I think if we want it bad enough, we're going to get that shit, hell or high water. I don't think nobody can get in the way of that. So, we coming for their ass. And fuck New Orleans.
I love the energy. I love the energy. So now we come down to probably the biggest game that Raiders fans are probably looking at. Everyone talking about our former quarterback and playing against the New Orleans Saints.
We going to New Orleans and beat their ass. When we went into New Orleans, I was sitting in that fucking stands talking shit, and I was cautioning the Raider fan. Even though I was screaming my Raiders and talking my shit, I was admitting I was terrified of that game because we had Derek Carr starting. And it bothered me because of everything that was going on, at the end of that season, ups and downs and potential injuries and who should start and all the rest of this shit. And then the politics, surrounding whether or not he was even going to still be here. Because I was curious what his mentality was going into that game. And I was in that fucking place losing my fucking voice while we got our ass beat 42-0. And I just believe, regardless of how many motherfucking players are still on our roster, that suffered that bullshit ass embarrassing defeat, I believe that's a taste in the mouth of the organization that needs to be washed out with fucking strong Listerine. And we got to go and exercise that demon down there in Voodoo Town. I think we go back in there and go take over that fucking city again.
Derek Carr was 1-1 against the Saints. He did win that one game. That big game, when the hell was it? I believe it was early in the season. No, late in the season. A few years before he got let go, and then he had the big goose egg loss. We all agree, and we ain't scared of Derek Carr. We ain't scared of the Saints. They got Alvin Kamara, but what is his name? Olave, but they ain't got nothing.
Yeah. Christian Olave or whatever.
Olave. Maybe that's why. I hate butchering names. I hate it. I know how it is. I got a name that gets butchered all the time.
I mean, it's only his second year. He's a rookie. Make him earn his name. It's Chris Olave. He came out of Ohio State. But he all right. He just stuck on that fucking situation in his career.
Other than those two weapons, they really ain't got shit. I think we handily hand them an ass whooping.
We're going to beat their fucking ass on principle. One, because they're not as good a team as we are. Two, because we're not the same team that we were. And three, because we're going to shut the media up by putting a fucking sock in Derek Carr mouth. It's not personal against him, but he is the demon that we got to slay to prove the point.
It's once a Raider, always a Raider until we got to play you. And in this game, fuck Derek Carr. We're sorry, but be prepared to be on your back.
Hey, when the snake was in New Orleans, what we do to him?
We fucked him up.
When the snake was in Houston, what we do to him?
We fucked him up.
We don't give a fuck. You ain't on our team no more. And there's enough people that wanted all the vitriol to hate your ass that's gonna be in there rooting against you. You better come in there with your sword sharp. Cause ain't nobody gonna be in there golly jucking and all G's in you. We got one of them too. And ain't no kind of 12 coming in that motherfucker to show why his number 3 times better than yours.
I'm loving it. Last game of the season. We don't know what time it's going to be, what day it's going to be, but it's against the team we started with.
We win. We're doing the bookend thing. We win on the road because that's what we're supposed to do, and the momentum is up. But we win right here because as a football team, if we've accumulated the record that I've predicted over this course of this discussion, at this point, this is an absolute no fucking lose game. There's absolutely no reason to lose to Los Angeles Chargers in our fucking division when we know that team. Now, if the first game is a shootout and I'm just overlooking them or whatever, if it's one of them bang bang like that one game they had at the end of the season, then okay, I see a shootout here at the end of the season. But if we go in there in the beginning of the season and we beat their ass like I expect that we do, I believe that we close the season beating their ass too. So I think that's a win, and I don't like taking the foot off the pedal.
No. Hey, me and Savage feel the same way. We played them, to get into the playoffs the last time.
Yep.
Where it was, we win, we get in. They win, we get in. We both tie, we both get in.
Yep.
And then they turn around and did something to piss us the fuck off. And we took our foot off we had our foot off the pedal. We were ready for that tie. And because they pissed us off, we turn around and slit their throat. And I think this is another game that, it's going to go and we're going to slit that throat. And basically, we're going to be, 5-1 in the division.
Yep, I see that. I see that.
Now, all that being said, I'm going to go with the records. Aloha, there, Raider Rick.
Oh, nice. Rick Samarano. Aloha. Ryan. Salute, brother.
I have my record for the Raiders for the season. I have them at 11-6.
Okay.
Raider Savage has the Raiders ending the season at 12-5.
Okay.
And our man right here, Mr. RaiderMan, number 19 himself, has the schedule ending at 13-4.
Nice. Okay. But I honestly believe that shit too.
To me, if we get with your record, we win the division.
Yeah.
That wins the division. 13-4, that's going to win the division.
And that's what I'm after. I'm after the division.
That's what we need to be after. We need to dethrone those. What did Max Crosby say? Max Crosby wanted the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl so we could be the team that dethroned them.
Yep.
And at 13-4, I mean, goddamn.
We back. Now, realistically, okay, because people might, oh, yeah, of course, you're Raider fan, all that shit. Well, I believe I can back up my 13-4. And I think there's very few people that can discredit it because it sounds like a lofty number. But when you break it all down team by team, truly explain to me why that couldn't be a strong possibility. We ain't the same fucking team.
Hey, we just went through this, and there's a couple of games that I had as losses that you convinced me.
And I believe that shit, man. We coming, bro. We coming. They don't have no fucking idea what we doing coming out of our backfield, and that's the biggest key. Everybody dealing with the peripheries. Everybody all they gonna know is all our receivers, and we're gonna be hitting their ass underneath in the soft underbelly with Lob and motherfucking Zeus. And there's a couple of tricks coming. Cause I think they can move they can put Mayer and motherfucking Bowers in the backfield and motion the running backs out. What team's gonna do with that?
Hey, we all know Bowers could be a halfback. So
Imagine this shit real quick. Now, okay, I'm just playing offensive coordinator. I'm playing Getsy Jr. over here. But we got two tight ends that you can split all the way out wide. So you take Brock Bowers, you split him all the way out to Devontae's X, and you split fucking Mike Mayer out to split all the way over to fucking Jacoby's Y. I mean Z. And then you take Jacoby and Devontae and you put them in the slot. And you run the ass across the middle with fucking running backs splitting out the backfield on swings or arrows. Who are you covering? You got immediate mismatches on both of your corners. You got to double team them. Who you gonna take away from Devontae? Who you gonna take away from Jacoby?
Well,
and then they slatting across the crosses on across the middle, and then you got running backs coming out the backfield doing this shit.
Well, you even got you have Fondo, who keeps talking about the 12 personnel, 2 tight ends.
But that's all they can say, and I think that's sad because for them to do that, in my mind's eye, that's discrediting the true talent of our tight ends. You don't understand what a true tight end talent can do. These are not blocking tight ends. We got hold on. Hey, come on. Sorry, dog was fighting for real. But you got tight ends that's not inline blocking tight ends. You know, Michael Mayer, they almost kind of sacrificed his offensive production last year, in my mind's eye, trying to teach him to be an NFL inline tight end. Now, that was a stupid sacrifice to me, but, you know, considering our personnel, I can understand, I guess. I'm forced to understand why we did it. This season, we can't say that kid's blocking ain't been bona fide. Then you bring in the Bryant kid that we got in on free agency, and you add a Brock Bowers, who don't have to be a world beater at blocker, but he's damn sustainable, that you can move into the back.
But that's the thing. He is a world beater at blocker, though.
And that's my point. They keep trying to take knocks away from him, trying to say that he's not. I'm saying that he is. And world beaters are blockers because of their mentality, not because of their physical. They know when to block.
Do we still have this? Because I came on, I think it was the draft show, one of the damn shows just within the last 3 weeks. Okay, and I brought it up, and I'll bring it up again. Brock Bowers was a finalist for the Lombardi Award. Okay, the Lombardi Award is for linemen, offensive and defensive linemen. Now, they do allow linebackers and they do allow tight ends into that category, but now we go. Offensive linemen and defensive linemen win the award. There's been, I believe, 3 linebackers who won the award and not a single tight end. And yet, for the last 2 years of his career in college, he was a Final Four. Not in the running. He was a Final Four, meaning just like the Heisman, you got 4 people. And until they announce the winner, those 4 people are all candidates to win it. This boy was a candidate to win a lineman award, which means he can block as well as an offensive lineman.
And a 2-time Mackey Award winner. And Mackey was known to maul motherfucker at the line, even though he got his prowess in the Hall of Fame for all the touchdowns he caught. But he was known to be a damn tractor. That's the whole point. And people are fucking missing it. And you take all that power and motion their ass all the way out to the edges. Now we're not talking 12 personnel anymore. But see, they stuck on that shit because they don't. Okay, this is my assessment. I believe that someone convinced these individuals that us Raider fans are stupid. You know, one of the stupidest things that I ever heard, and I heard that individual say this. I don't even want to repeat his name just because, you know, he did, whatever. You want to come have a sit down talk to me about your team? No. And I don't care how many people you talk to, you're not watching my team like I'm watching my team. You have no fucking idea, which is why this is supposed to be a space that's safe for Raider fans to enjoy our shit. You know, these guys want to be famous themselves, and they talk that shit because they feeling like Well, I got these connections. I'm talking to people that you're not talking to. You don't have the information that I have. You're not an athlete. You don't really know what you're looking at. So I look at it differently. And I have my own interpretation of it, which creates a dialogue that you can't project nor control. Which is why I have this thing about Raider fans, and in particular Raider Nation as a whole. Right on, bro. Living in this thing where we have to be appreciating all these outsiders.
I saw this one. He actually had that ahead of the time. I don't know if you wanted to see that.
Oh, right on. It's from Maldonado. I see that. Yeah. I gotta get in touch with Maldo. Yeah, right on, brother. Thanks for that. Thanks, Rick. I'm gonna hit up Maldo. Yeah, I hit up Maldo right away. That's my brother, man. Darth Maul. Dope. That's my brother, man. But I know things have been a little hairy, up and down, man. There's been life on life turns for real. And that's what they lose. They lose that camaraderie of us because, we care about each other. We're supposed to be able to celebrate each other and touch each other and let each other know, hey, I'm here, bro, So shout out. Really appreciate that update, Rick. Yeah, I will do. I hit up Maldo. Yeah, that's my brother, man. Oh, damn. Wow. Yeah. I talked to him the other week, and I heard that, Pops, was having some complications or whatnot. Just put it that way. Yeah, shout out. Hey, what's up, Art? That's my baby boy right there. Raider Art, man. R.I.P. Jim Otto, man. Double O. But yeah, it's I truly believe that in what I've seen in the rebuilding of this team, starting with the inception of Coach Antonio Pierce as our new leader, Raiders football is back. Of course, it's got to be played out on the field, but the the pieces are in place. Come here, Zato, looking for attention now. The pieces are in place for us to, to truly make that move forward. And, all systems are go. It's all systems go on the GM. And that's the other thing about the Chargers. We got Telesco. We sweeping them sons of bitches. Telesco, them the Telesco games. Even though he don't do shit on the field, that's when everybody comes to, like the back of your brother. Like, oh, yeah, y'all trying to do my dog wrong. Oh, y'all been talking shit. Oh, yeah, y'all don't miss us. I bet you miss us now. That's them games. And we got those as bookend games. Coming in fresh out of left field. Oh, yeah, we get to play y'all before y'all so-called know what y'all want to do. Okay, cool. We'll, quote-unquote, catch you off guard. But then at the end of the season, what fucking excuse you got? It's going to be like Antonio Tarver and Will Jones Jr.
I'll go as far as this. You said those Telesco games. This was the Telesco draft.
Yeah.
He listened to his head coach on players that he wanted, but in the end, we know AP wanted to go up and get Jaden Daniels. We know that. AP made it clear. That's what he wanted. Daniels said no.
He wasn't going to do it when he said that, though. Huh? He gave him the ghost. Because I was having this in my text conversation in our group, but as I appreciate the brash nature of Coach Antonio Pierce because he's just being genuine who he is. Yeah. But the way he approached going to get Jaden Daniels was the absolute worst business model that you can have. And I believe that it cost him because, you put your whole feelings out there. That's like, the finest girl in school waved to you one day in the library because you picked up her pencil and gave it back to her. And then you made up your mind that she was going to be your girlfriend. And one day you was going to marry her ass. And then all of a sudden, one day you get a chance to talk to her and you find out that she don't like you. You don't really have you don't have a shot. You know what I mean? It's like the odds get put against you once you put your little heart out there. You can't negotiate with your feelings. And I think he made his first rookie mistake by saying, hey, we don't give a shit what nobody think. Well, I'm brash. I'm coming out there and come get him. And then people just start stacking their chips. Okay, well, come on and come get him. And that made it impossible for Telesco to follow that up.
I don't think it made it impossible. I think I agree with you on the AP part. But I think that's why Mark Davis hired Telesco instead of Champ Kelly. Right. Because Telesco could turn around and say, I hear what you're saying.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm not giving up all that to go do this. We're going to sit at 13. Yes, if somebody's willing to trade up to here, I'll do this for this player. I'll do
And
this
that's
for
great
that player.
commentary by you with Mark Davis, because Mark Davis is not getting enough credit for actually making true business moves. A lot of people still taking shots at him. Oh, he need to sell the team and all that kind of shit. Mark Davis made those decisions on his own, and that man made the best decisions that he could have possibly made for this organization. And I believe his daddy would be proud of him. And I want to say for the record, I'm proud of him. And motherfuckers got to start giving people flowers when when it's cool.
Well, no, we do. I agree. The Josh McDaniels decision wasn't his greatest move, but I think over the time since he's taken over the team, he has learned what it takes to do with what he doesn't know and who he's got to bring in and shit. And he learned. He brought in a lot of first-time GMs. A lot of first-time GMs. It didn't work out. So this time he turned around and made the decision. I got a first-time head coach. I love my head coach, but I need to make sure I have a GM who is willing to stand up to my coach and do what needs to be done for the team. And hired Telesco, which I know a lot of people, we got him fired. All this other bullshit. Okay, doesn't mean he was a bad GM. His time was just done in LA. But he came in and said, you know what? No, we are not going to do all this other bullshit and panic. What we're going to do is we're going to let the draft come to us. If we get calls for trades, if they're worth it, we'll make the trade. If not, we will pick at that spot, whether it's best available player or, the players that they wanted. They went best available player with Brock Bowers, who is a top 2 or 3 when it comes to the draft. Take quarterbacks out of shit. When it comes straight to the draft, he was a top 2 or 3 player in the draft.
But wait, you can also couple in not only top 2 or 3 player in this draft, but maybe top 1 to 5 tight ends ever in college fucking football.
Yeah.
we you know what I'm saying? We got fucking Godzilla. We got a damn unicorn with our first pick. That's what you do. That's best player available. You take a fucking unicorn. I don't give a shit what none of you damn skeptical ass Raider fans holler at me at the end of the season when this shit didn't work out. But until then,
let's go further. You get JPJ in the second round, who should have been a first round fucking talent.
See?
Then you get DJ Glaze, which some people think we reached on, but you know what? We didn't. He's a diamond in the rough. He's gonna
make Telesco look like the genius that he really is. And while people talking shit, look at what you just said. Tight end, 2 of the best offensive linemen in the draft, whether they be center, guard, or tackle, because they each can touch each. Yep. So what we do, we bona fide our entire offensive line. What everybody keeps saying. With the first 3 picks. And we bona fide the offense in the process and the play of the quarterbacks by the picks that we took. Because by drafting the tight ends, you make your quarterbacks better. And by bolstering the offensive line, you make your quarterbacks better. Especially from the middle out.
The one thing people seem to forget, okay, you got Minshew and you got O'Connell. But what's a quarterback's fucking safety blanket? It's the fucking tight end.
Tight ends are running backs.
Okay. And so now in the last 2 drafts, you got the 2 best tight ends in the draft for the last 2 years. Now you're set.
And then you get one of the best running backs out of the backfield. They saying that this kid might be Austin Eckler, 2.0. We won't know until we find out. Yeah, Love. Lave ain't no joke, man. Lave is a nice fucking running back. And you put him in the right spaces. All you doing is getting the dude out in the space with sure hands and damn good field ability and good vision for the ball. That's going to get us touchdowns. Lave might fuck around and end up being like a little league MVP.
Well, you got to remember, he got brought in for the damn new kickoff rule. But he might make it as a running back.
And a lot of these picks that we got really, truly benefit us with this new kickoff rule. Labe does. Bowers does. The fact that we got Michael Mayer last year does. We're going to be killing on this shit. And people not paying attention to it. They just complaining.
Pay attention. It's just not the players that they wanted because they can't see the fine-tuning. Not fine-tuning. What's the word I'm looking for? They can't see the little shit that these players do.
Hey, they keep claiming we don't have a quarterback. I say we got 2.
And
And
we got
I
to.
love this. I love this because you know that old saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, that mean you don't have one. Well, that's some little shit that they started creating when motherfuckers always wanted to get all the big quarterback money. Those contracts in that day of quarterbacking is gone too. Now, what the truth of the matter is, we've gone back to the old school quarterback competition. At least I hope so. If we can get a true quarterback competition in camp, man,
I think we got it.
ALC 12 gonna be a dog, man.
I think we got it. And
We got it.
Worst case scenario, if Minshew wins the job and Aiden O'Connell's gonna sit behind him, that helps O'Connell.
How was that a bad plan? But if O'Connell actually beats him out, oh my God, league, watch the fuck out. I believe Aiden O'Connell is going to have
one last thing before we get off. A lot of people don't know. Does anybody know why DJ Glaze was fucking drafted where he was drafted?
You said the why?
The why? Why was he drafted in the 3rd round?
Well,
by the Raiders.
I believe that the scouting department and Tom Telesco and his vast knowledge realized that DJ Glaze is probably the best pass blocking fucking offensive lineman coming out of this draft. And not to mention the fact that he's an athletic guy that can move. So his ass is multi-positional. He's strong at the right with potential for left with a high acumen for center. He's a jack of all fucking spades. He just ain't really been trying those spots. And watch, when soon he get to show himself, when him and JPJ get together, this shit finna get nasty. And then you add in Dylan Parham.
All that is right, but you missed the one thing.
All right, hit me.
During the Senior Bowl, right? Yeah, Senior Bowl, they said he was one of the only players who was coachable. He listened to what the coaches said. When the coaches said, this is what I need you to do, he turned around and did it. How many players do you get coming straight out of college who are straight coachable?
Right on time to let's go. Time to let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Get some.
So that was the biggest reason why. So a lot of people think we reached for him in the 3rd round. No, in the Senior Bowl, they saw it. He is a coachable player. He is not. What's the word I'm looking for?
ALC will earn the QB1 starter job. Yep, El Capitan. I'm with you, brother.
He's not one of those guys. Oh, I know what I'm doing. He turned around. He's coachable. He took everything coaches threw at him in the Senior Bowl and did it in this. Not only tried to do it, he did it. What more could you ask for out of a guy? I'm telling you, year 2, year 3, you're gonna say he's either Art Shell or fucking why am I drawing a blank?
Hey, don't feel bad, because I'm honestly hoping that we find the first DJ Glaze. I want this dude. I've been working on my little. I've been working on my little sneaky shit. I've been working on my little sneaky shit I can say if I start calling in the radio shows again.
Hey, I'm telling you, you're going to have Colton Miller, DJ Glaze. Don't know who we're going to have at center. JPJ and Bumford. As your offensive.
Think about the line combination that can be created with those guys. And then there's a lot of projected talent that's not even really a factor in that. Like the guy that we brought in from Chicago, the guard from Chicago this year. Whitehead. That's not accounting for Dalton Wagner and his potential development. This is so much that's left out of this equation. But the biggest thing to me is, and people quick to poo-poo it, but I'm saying this shit anyway. Colton Miller has established himself as a perennial, well, he's not perennial Pro Bowl or whatever. He ain't been to a Pro Bowl yet, but he's being considered in these talks. He ain't did anything to break out and bust over.
He is one of the top left fucking guards.
But see, remember, Colton is at tackle, and nobody expects him to be able to stick at tackle. But my point about it is, for whatever reason, he's starting to sustain like injuries in his shoulders. I'm more of a firm believer. Now, of course, it's an opposite position, changing of the foot and all that shit. But certain guys have a knack and a talent to be able to do it pretty seamlessly. I'm just curious, and I'm watching for how soon do they maybe take a shot at maybe moving Colton Miller over to the right side and starting to work that
I
erasure
don't
from
think
the
he's
other
going to
side.
be on the right side, though. I think they're going to keep him on the left.
They may, but his injuries may dictate that they have to move him. I'm watching for that because
Maybe.
you don't dictate when your shoulders go. And if you bang it on the same fucking shoulder, the best you could do is bang on the other side. So all I'm saying is think about that periphery talent that we just discussed. You got DJ Glazes, you got Thayer Mumford, you got so many different depth pieces that you can legitimately, do route combinations. I mean, line combinations and find out where guys play best. I think it would behoove us to stop just like bottlenecking guys into one position and literally play them where they're best, wherever
But
that is in the season.
that's the thing. Look at everybody we drafted on that offensive line. Even Mumford. Everybody could play both sides. They can't. They're just not one person. Colton Miller is probably the closest thing we have to a person who can only play one position.
Maybe. I'm still don't believe that because coming out of college, remember he came from the right side.
No, I know, but I'm not saying he can't, but I'm saying he's the closest we got to somebody who can't.
Everybody else more versatile. I feel what you're saying.
Could play multiple positions.
Right. Everybody else a lot more versatile, which makes sense. And that might bonafide Colton Miller.
I'll change that. We'll leave Colton Miller out. The center.
Which one? Parham or
no, I want Parham.
Andre James.
Andre James. He's the one guy who's probably only a single position player. Everybody else could play either side of the line.
I always, you know what? And that Andre James was an anomaly for me because, and I swear I remember looking this shit up. I can't remember it specifically, so I don't want to start lying here. But going back to his college days, I swear I saw him playing strong at the right guard position. And I was always curious why they never moved him back over there. Like, when we brought in Parham, they were saying his proclivity to play center was pretty strong. So I was just curious about, again, line combinations, if Andre James could be moved and why wouldn't they? What were they doing? Illuminor did all the swing tackle shit, and they just had a lot of stuff moving. This crop of linemen is a completely different depth breed to me. It's like these dudes are, this shit is made for fucking plowing, man. We got some snow plowers. We got some road graders out there. This shit is exciting. I think we're gonna be pounding motherfuckers into the ground.
Hey, we're back to the 70s fucking offensive line.
And people missing this shit because we don't have a quarterback. Shut the fuck up. We got play action football, man. Play action pass.
We have our quarterback. We both feel it's Aiden O'Connell.
I think Aiden O'Connell going down to MVP status this season.
Hey, I'd love to fucking see it.
I'm throwing my shit out there. Aiden O'Connell, if you get a chance to see this video for whatever reason, brother, I'm your friendly neighborhood Raider man. I created the Raider Oath. I'm doing my best, and so is Asylum and Savage and all the brothers and sisters on this line to get my ass out there and do that Raider Oath for you at the Torch one of these damn games for a home game and pump that damn place up to a fever pitch. But I want to say this to you, Mr. Aiden O'Connell. You are an MVP candidate quarterback year 2024, this season. All of that crap that you went through last season, that espionage bullshit that they tried to pull on you, we don't say no names to protect the lives of the innocent, but we saw you, dude. The motherfucker that's paying attention, the motherfucker that know what a real quarterback is about and how to get that business done, I see you about to get out there and come do some business. And don't be scared. Everybody got your back, man, and start with Coach AP. You said you the first out the limo, dog. You're the first out the limo. You're the leader of this motherfucker. Go run this pack. Because we belong in the playoffs, and I believe you belong in the Super Bowl. Fuck what the people talking about. You got people that honestly believe in you. I consider myself number one. I don't even want to be selfish, because I hope there's 19, 20 other motherfuckers that's willing to fight me for the spot. But I believe you, dude. I believe in you, and I say we go get they motherfucking ass.
Okay, I'm going to do one thing before we get out of here, because it's the way it goes. Right here, just fucking say it. Team Ramrod.
Team Ramrod. Oh yeah, shouts out to Art, man. The dog name is Zato. Like Lyle Zato, I had to dedicate one to the OG. You know what I'm saying? I felt proud when I started doing the cage match. I never really realized you was rocking the 77. You know what I'm saying? You're such my friend. I don't judge you for your extremities. I saw you had that 77. I remember that day too. It was a bunch of Alzado shit for whatever reason. But that Alzado spirit is back, man. You know, we got disruptors in the line, and that is speaking of Alzado, that's who I wanted Cleveland Farrell to watch. And I'm hoping that they put that shit on Tyree Wilson. Just be a disruptor. Be the best fucking defensive line disruptor that you can be. And that shit puts everything in the space.
I want Tyree Wilson to be the best Tyree Wilson he could be.
That's it. I just want the best Tyree Wilson you could be, man. Be the best fucking disruptor. I remember calling this, one of the shows on the Raider Fan Radio, what do you call it? Raider Nation Radio thing. Shouts out Raider Fan Radio, Rob, beautiful black hole Steph, Uncle Stoner dude and all y'all. But the dude called him the Tyree Dactyl. Somebody came in with that name, Tyree Dactyl. I like that. I'm trying to keep that shit going. The long ass.
We got the Condor. We got the Tyree Dactyl. I like that. I like that.
You see where I'm going with this? I'm trying to make that shit stick, man. The Tyree Dactyl and the Mad Max Condor.
Hell yeah.
You know, that's the way it's supposed to be, man. And then shit, Coon's gonna earn his fucking name, and then we got these kids coming in. And you know, I'm really excited for Eichenberg as well. To have a linebacker like that coming along to play along a Robert Spillane, that's gonna turn Diablo loose. Diablo, I believe, is gonna have a fucking MVP caliber year too.
I think so. I love Diablo, and I like Eichenberg with Spillane. Fucking A, this
our shit, man. Telesco, bro. Fucking Tom Telesco, man. Fuck all the naysayers. Fuck all the what they say on Harlem Nights. All the naysayers can kiss my entire ass.
Okay. Last two things. I just want to give another R.I.P. to Jim Otto.
Man, Mr. Shout out Double O, man.
Double O. When it comes down to it,
that's the original Raider man in my book. Everything that I've ever aspired to be as a Raider fan, Jim Otto displayed for us on the football field. You know, his diligence, his dedication to the sport, his dedication to this team, this organization, his never wavering spirit, and the fact that no matter what, he always stepped up to the challenge. A lot of people kind of, I like that. Okay, speed, space, beast, Tyree Dactyl, baby. I can't claim it's mine, but I'm claiming I ran into the fucking finish line. Hey, but I'll tell you what.
We're trying to get you to the torch. We're going to get that stick. We're going to get that
real Raider Nation. We're going to take everybody deserve credit with us so we have our own fucking entourage. And them haters got to get the fuck out the way. But I'm telling you, man, it's like what we got built here is something that we ain't seen. I don't know, and I'm going to go out here on a limb and say this. I don't know if King Al ever did what we're doing right now. We're doing some different shit. And if these guys come out and play to their fucking talents and play to their true abilities and play with that reckless abandon that Coach AP is putting out there as a template, we could very well see a version of the fucking Raiders that nobody has ever seen before.
Well, I won't even go and say, I think we're going to bring back the Raider team that Al Davis would be proud of.
Real proud of. I'm talking about Al Davis and Ron Wolf level type shit.
Yeah, the old school, get to the quarterback, get him down hard, all that shit. So after all this, R.I.P. Jim Otto. Thank you, Raider Man, for coming in and filling in for Savage during this time that he really needed to be off and everything. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with Savage and his family.
Yeah, shouts out, Savage. We love you, man. We love the family.
Yes, we love you. We're here for you. We're always going. We're going to end the show like we always end the show with a word from Raider Milt, Raider Savage's old high school Tennyson Lancers coach. Until next week, guys, we love you all. Thank you again, Raider Man. Love you for coming on and doing this shit.
Love you, brother.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight again. I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.
Thank you again, brother, for coming on. You know, show went long, but you know what? It was perfect.
We killed it, man. We killed